Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, surrounded by the Doctrinaires, man of 1,000 voices. Tim Andrews is here. Lady of quite a few voices in her own right, Autumn Fisher is here. And the handsomest producer in all of producery, Jared Yamamoto is here.
Do you have any Wednesday wisdom for us today, Eric?
I do not have any Wednesday wisdom. I don't have any wisdom that you could... Does that mean wisdom that only applies on Wednesday? Am I getting this wrong, or is...
It's not applicable tomorrow.
Yeah, you can't... I can't think of wisdom that can only be used on a Wednesday. Compartmentalized. Hey, whatever you do, don't try this on a Thursday. People...
It won't work.
Get hurt. It won't. Well, it's not, worse than that. People may get hurt. Mm-hmm. There are consequences to our behaviors. It's important to understand that. I would apologize again. I feel great, but for some reason, the voice, and if I laugh, it's still really, it's got that...
It's a smoker's laugh.
It's a Saturday morning cartoon dog laugh kind of thing.
English Nick.
Yeah, but English Nick, he's got the wheeze. He's got the...
Yeah.
He
has the high-pitched whistle
the
wheeze.
hydraulic drill. For me,
My
this
voice
is
is also...
I know.
Yeah.
You got a little something up there. And we're not even, by the way, don't even start with the rumors. Because we're not even living in the same state, this Autumn Fisher. I don't even know who she is, quite frankly. WSB forced her on me, and she lives inside of this
We
computer.
had to pretend that we've known each other forever.
Exactly. As far as I know, she lives inside that computer, so there has been no connection. But you know what? There's a lot of this kind of mild sickness going around.
Yeah.
I'm noticing on the sort of podcasts that I watch and things like. There's always somebody. So I guess. I think if anybody started some sort of rumor about how the host and the female on the show both suddenly got sick with a virus at the same time, well, I say, well, you just go look at everything else because it's happening a lot out there.
What's one kiss?
You know what? The thing is, alcohol makes you do things sometimes you don't. And if it's in the flu season, then there can be other complications. It's not our fault. It's not our fault, Autumn. It's bigger than the both of us. Let's do this.
Headlines for Wednesday, December 11th.
All right. Are people screaming, angry, mad? Where are we starting today?
We'll start right here in Atlanta. Where...
I'm not mad. I'm in a good mood. You guys in a good mood?
I'm all right.
I'm in a Christmassy mood.
Ooh.
Are you guys in? I'm officially.
We decorated the tree last night.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Did you have any kind of like eggnog, something like that? Did you get the fire crackling?
Oh yeah,
it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I like chestnuts roasting somewhere.
I don't even know that I'm immersed in it, but I realize now I try to gin up the Christmas spirit by creating a situation where it seems like I'm in an animated cartoon. You know,
but aren't you sometimes worried that happens too soon in the season and then you lose it?
Well, as you recall, last year I started listening to Christmas music on Halloween. So this year, I'm just really getting into it right now. I have a lot of snow globes this year because my wife and I discovered these snow globes that you don't have to shake. We're getting older. We're lazy.
Oh.
So the good thing about snow globes, no matter how good they are, you shake them up, you get maybe a minute at most of delight, and then it's back to work.
Got to think about the arthritis, right?
Yeah, well, look, it's just how can you enjoy yourself? You have to keep on shaking this thing.
Are you a millennial with your snow globe politics?
Let me just say this. I'm not talking
Listen, there are seasons in a year.
I understand.
Just like in the snow globe, you appreciate it for a moment and then you put it down. It doesn't have to be constantly going.
I like these that we turn on. They got lights. The lights change colors.
Is the city inside diverse? Because the old ones, it's not.
You know what? I believe
only white people celebrate Christmas in the snow.
That is not true.
The other people are going to work in the snow. They can't enjoy Christmas.
No. You guys are bringing me down. I have everybody everybody's happy inside of my snow globe. And I'm happy now because I don't have to keep getting up and shaking it. But here's the thing I've noticed about these snow globes. And if somebody knows differently, let me know. The open mic is available to you. It seems that the technology that gets the snow globe going all the time, it's more like glitter in there than actual snow. And I'm guessing the water or whatever that liquid is has to be a little more viscous to keep it kind of rolling around.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you can't just put white flakes in there. It has to be glitter. If someone could tell me, that's the only bring down. I don't have to get up and keep shaking the damn thing in order to continually be delighted by this snow globe. But it's not exactly the same thing because it's more like a strip club snow globe because it's just glitter going around as opposed to actual flakes of snow. But these are my problems. They're Christmassy problems. And the Von Haessler Doctrine hopes and wishes that all of your problems are mere Christmassy problems. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you
I
can,
have
sir.
a Christmas problem.
Yes, handsome producer in the back. You're next.
I have too many Christmas parties to go to this upcoming Saturday, Eric. What do I do?
Well,
how do I
you're
handle
just
this?
entirely too social. Do you know that? You're just too social. You need to learn how to say no. No, I'm not going anywhere. When is the last time on a Saturday you and your girlfriend, and with no one being sick or anything like that, you and your girlfriend just hung out at home all weekend long?
2016.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, well,
gotta enjoy it. It's the season.
From my perch, it seems like you're too social. And then you're 30, so I was pretty social when I was 30 as well. But it gets old after a while. Pick a couple of Christmas parties, and you got to tell somebody no. 2 of them are work parties, right? So you got to go to those.
Ours is this weekend.
That's right. That's why. That's one of the conflicts.
You did it yesterday. You showed up because he looks really good at our Christmas party because he gives a damn about his girlfriend's Christmas party. So he has to dress in a suit and tie for that one because they're very uptight. And then he shows up at our Christmas party and he's the best dressed guy there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I like being
Last
dressed.
year he got drunk. The Atlanta United won the thing,
MLS Cup?
MLS Cup. And I left before apparently he and his girlfriend got into some sort of argument and he walked home alone in the rain.
Wow.
That's what I remember from last year's Christmas party. So, hey, don't miss that one. All right, what's in the headlines?
All right, a New York City program that relocates its homeless to other cities around the country is drawing fire from Marietta leaders who say they learned about this program, that it was happening in their city from a newspaper article.
So the people in New York City, this is rather ingenious, actually. They're paying homeless people, and I guess what they do is they send them to some place like Marietta, and they pay for a year's rent or something.
What a deal. I'm homeless.
And there's a lawsuit that's, I guess Newark has filed a lawsuit in New Jersey because the last thing they need is more homelessness from New York. They must be doing this all around the country. I don't know. I guess they're temporarily suspending the program until it gets through the courts. But on one hand, no. Do we want New York City's homeless? We can't even handle our own homeless. No, we don't. On the other hand, we talk a lot about how people don't have any good new ideas in government. Somebody stood up at a city council meeting and said, just as when I was back with the shock jockey kind of show, we used to have the idea for the homeless that you just give them a bus ticket, send them to Birmingham. Sure. But I guess this is a little more thought out. A little more thought out.
Hey, what if we send them out west or down south with the rest of the losers?
What you could say is that, hey, we were worried about them. It's cold in New York City. You send them down south, at least they're not going to freeze.
Rents are high.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, they need a warm place and more generous people.
And you know what? I would say, as a city council person in New York City, I would say I was talking to a lot of these homeless people, and they love NASCAR and college football. We decided you send them down south.
Huge Falcons fans. Huge.
Teach them some survival skills.
Yeah.
Send them out west. They'll become like the new homesteaders.
You know what? That would be fine if they weren't addicted to drugs or have mental problems.
Well, then the strong will survive.
Well, that's very nice until 60 Minutes shows up. Then everybody's in trouble.
I just hope that this program isn't being misleading to the homeless people, like saying, oh, man, we're going to send you off to Atlanta. We're going to pay off your rent. And then you get all the way down here and you're stuck in Kennesaw or Marietta or something like that.
First of all, these are people who don't have a home over their heads.
Yeah, they don't care.
But what do you think?
Is it ITP?
I'd rather be living on the street. Yeah.
Do they have let me ask you this question. Do they have a market where you can get, craft beers and locally sourced vegetables?
Is it a mixed use development so I can go to the grocery store at the bottom of my building?
Is there a light rail nearby?
A lot of green space around here, I hope. So that will get all the. Send your cards and letters to WSB Radio, care of Program Director Pete Spriggs. I can't believe they're making light of the homeless problem. Hey, look, somebody's trying to do something about it. This is what I think about the homeless problem at this point. It's ridiculous, but we are completely paralyzed. No one can act. Everyone knows something needs to be done, but no one can act. We are twisted up inside of our own court precedents everywhere, and there's nothing you can do. No matter how much of a heart you have, no matter how much money you're willing to spend, you cannot do what needs to be done, which is, hey, you can't sleep here. So we have a place that you can sleep if you don't have a place to sleep, but you can't sleep here, and you got to move on. And no one will do that. And I think if I live another 35, 40 years, I think that the homeless problem will be probably just about what it is now. So no one's going to do anything about it. So it's all virtue signaling, right? It's like, oh, I care so much. Did you hear on that radio show when they were laughing and mocking? They're not as good as me. I care. Now, between all of us, the people on the radio show and myself, none of us has done anything about homelessness, but at least you know that I actually care and have a bigger heart, and now I can feel better about myself while they freeze yet another night. All right. So in Marietta, hey, as long as they pay their rent, right? And as soon as they don't pay their rent, a year from now, they put them on a bus, send them back to New York City.
I'm moving to Powder Springs.
Isn't it possible to not enjoy your previously homeless New York neighbor?
Wait, but that's so weird. Is it not? I didn't follow that. Is it possible that you would, as a person who is not used to being homeless or not even used to homeless people, right,
that all of a sudden you have a previously homeless New York neighbor, what kind of person they are, what kind of neighbor they might be? Does anybody understand what the word diversity means? Yeah, you got to meet new people. Hey, they're from New York. You can learn something from them. All right. You yourself might find out that you admire their lifestyle and head back to New York with them and sleep on the streets. You switch places. Yeah, why am I running this rat race? It's time for me to go out.
City mouse, country mouse.
There you go.
That's right. They tell the stories of their homeless tales, and it sounds so romantic.
That's the problem with modern day homelessness is there's no... the hobos had that whole harmonica culture with the trains and everything. It's a lot of
and
good
their
bindles, and they had those the barrel fires and
their fingerless gloves.
Fingerless gloves. That's what. Give me some fingerless gloves, a bindle, a harmonica, and a train, and I'll give you
maybe
a
can of baked beans.
Look, don't ruin everything. It's morning time. All right, go ahead.
All right. One day after the AJC threatened the producers and filmmakers of Clint Eastwood's new Richard Jewell film over its accusations of malicious fabrications, calls to boycott that movie are mounting all over the place.
That's what's always the thing. I'm not going to... Let's boycott the movie. First of all, I'm hoping that this movie is a really good movie. Clint Eastwood's a great director. Every movie isn't great. Sometimes they're just unbelievably great. And I hope that this is one of those unbelievably great movies because, especially this week, this story about Richard Jewell is important to keep in mind as every leftist on MSNBC and CNN are telling us, hey, the FBI, they're reliable. They're the good guys. Hey, if the FBI says it, just keep on marching, man, because they are so good. Have you asked James Comey about himself? Have you asked James Comey about how good he is? He'll tell you. He'll talk for an hour and tell you how much better he is than you because he's an FBI man and he knows the FBI way. Well, you look at everything that's going on, it's been screwed up, and that ridiculous Inspector General report the other day. Richard Jewell, whose life was ruined, probably pushed to an early death by what the FBI did to him. And I hope it's a good movie. Now, this has to do with one reporter, AJC, and she died in the early 2000s, I believe.
Kelsey Scruggs.
Yeah, and in the movie, they depict her as somebody who was willing to trade sex for information. And the AJC is demanding that there be some sort of disclaimer at the front of the film saying these are made-up events. Now, you have Clint Eastwood, who's kind of doubling down on it.
She was somewhat on the wild side, and she was
is somewhat on the real wild side.
Now, this is not my issue. My issue is what FBI did to Richard Jewell. But what I would say to the estate of her family is then just sue. It wouldn't if I mean there's limits to what you can do with a public figure. I mean, I'm a public figure. I'm on the radio. You can't do a movie and have my character in there and say, oh, yeah, you had orgies every weekend. You can't just make anything up you want. You could take some license, I believe. But if they believe that she has been libeled or slandered, I don't really know the difference between those two things, but you know what I'm talking about, then they should take it to court. From the Clint Eastwood side, the movie, whoever produced this movie, truth is a defense to slander. So we'll find out. Yeah.
Good time girl.
Yeah, it's like he's not really saying anything. He's just like
to have a good time.
He's like an old man trying to, she went around the block,
She was out on dates a lot.
Now, Eric, you've made a film before, so how hard would it be for them to put a disclaimer saying Kathy Scruggs was...
At this point?
Yeah.
Almost impossible because it comes out on Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I made a movie, but it wasn't distributed all over the country. Although I can tell you, I think at this point, it's probably, well, I don't know. In most theaters, it's digitally, you get it over the satellite, but you still, I think you would still have to change an awful lot. And there's timing, and all the timing of the movie is listed in all the places where it's supposed to be listed. So it would be a little difficult, I suppose. Maybe they could get it before the home release. Something like that. But in reality, if this family believes that her name has been slandered, then they should sue, and we'll see.
Deck the halls with CBD oil.
Well, you wanted alternative holiday programming without the eggnog high. You got it. This is the Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB.
All right, very quickly, you got another story for me?
Oh, another big one here, Eric. Time's 2019 Person of the Year is...
I told you who it was going to be, didn't I?
You did, before
you gave me the list, and I said it's going to be that Greta Thunberg. That's it.
How dare you?
Hey, look, how dare I? How dare I what? I knew it was going to be Greta Thunberg because the media loves the Greta Thunberg. She's the young lady who apparently never wastes anything ever, and she has no exhaust. And she does everything for the climate, and she's 16. And all you do is you show up and you yell at adults and tell them how bad they've been.
I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I know that.
I shouldn't be Time's Person of the Year.
You never seem excited. You know what? We agree on that. You shouldn't be. You know what? I'll go even further, Greta Thunberg. There shouldn't be a Time's Person of the Year because nobody cares anymore because nobody buys Time magazine. Right?
I don't buy it.
Yeah, and by the way, if
it uses too much paper.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, you might as well. We should have chainsaw sounds. Everybody getting ready. They're getting ready over Time magazine to put Greta Thunberg. They're chopping down trees right now to put Greta Thunberg on the cover as Time. That joke doesn't work anymore because there is no real Time magazine. It's just an online blog. So this is what I want you to say. Tell me what Time's online blogs Person of the Year is. Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
Can you take a compliment ever?
People are suffering. People are dying.
Debbie Downer.
Wake up. Wake up.
All right, we're up. We're ready to go. You got your nose all cleaned out there, Tim Andrews?
I still have a hair hanging, but I'm not going to rip it out because it hurts.
It's driving me crazy.
Well, don't look at me.
It's like this one wild hair.
I got a wild hair.
Got it right out of that right nostril. It's driving me crazy.
If you rip them out, you could something could
die?
happen to you.
Like
yeah.
You could bleed out?
Something like that.
I'm sure there's some sort of mythology out there that you could.
The reason why he has that long hair, Eric, is to protect himself. Your nose hairs protect you from the germs that would otherwise get up into
your... And I don't have a problem with that if you keep them inside your nose. There's no need for them to be outside. They don't have to protect you before...
Extra protection.
I guess, yeah. This is
minor,
prophylactic nose protection.
Yeah, they're going outside his body to protect him.
Exactly.
That's right.
I know. Well, it's grossing me out.
And it gives you something to do in the car on the way home.
What do we have here? Surveys, studies, polls, that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, I get so excited. Let's just get to it.
It's time for studies, surveys, and polls on the von Haessler Doctrine.
Woo!
This
Couldn't
segment
do
is
it because of my voice.
Yeah, well, I know we're all. It's like we're doing the show from a hospital ward.
This segment is becoming a leading contender for most pushed segment of late. It's been pushed more than WTF.
I think we got pushed this week because every time we try to do entertaining radio, somebody gets impeached or somebody releases a report. Boring. Hey, Eric, boring people are going to have a press conference. We're going to preempt you. Okay. All right. Then. So, yeah, we got to listen to, we got Rudy Giuliani over here. Nancy Pelosi's got something to say over here.
Oh, she's crazy. I don't like that.
Yes, I'm not crazy.
You should think about it. Nancy Pelosi. She goes all over the world. This president is the best thing ever.
You're the one who's gone crazy.
Yeah, she's got like a Band-Aid on her nostril. What's going on with that?
Yeah, that was weird yesterday. I mean, we watched these on monitors where all the stations are on one screen, and I didn't notice that the Band-Aid on the side of her nose, which
she's got it pierced.
She just get it pierced. Sometimes there can be a mild infection. Maybe she's getting a little. Did you get your nose pierced? Is that what happens?
It's a long time ago. Yeah, my nose pierced.
She got one of those deals at Forever 21.
Excuse me, young man.
Saw you talking over a woman?
I apologize, Speaker Pelosi, for
She's
talking over
7,000 years old. Don't worry about it.
I'm a 79-year-old woman.
You're close.
Doesn't mean I'm not dead. Yeah, I live my life in such a way that I get my nose pierced.
She got her nose ring at Forever 61. It's a little different place. She's still young at heart, right, Nancy?
I'm still young at heart. When I look in the mirror, I say, "Who's that old lady?"
This is when. By the way, I'm 55, so I'm not making fun of this. This is coming in my life. But you are definitely a senior citizen when appearing in public with bandages on your face is no big deal. There's a point of life that you get to where it just has to be. Hey, you can't stop work. Now here's the thing. I hesitate to even bring it up because it could be something serious like skin cancer or something like that, or it could be like the latest facial lift thing went wrong, or it just got something done to her, because she looks like she's had a little work done, some good work, but she looks like she's
a little bit of facelift.
A little bit, yeah. So
just a long time ago, my twins, I got my facelift, and this is I got a little imperfection on my nose here. Sometimes it flares up. I gotta put
Nancy Pelosi, I cannot understand a word you're saying.
She said she went fishing, and when she was casting, the hook caught her in the nose.
That'll happen. You have to be careful. That's why I always.
My uncle.
I always wear a
Uncle Pelosi. He was a great fisherman.
Were you fly fishing, Nancy Pelosi?
I wear a riot helmet when I go fishing, with the whole shield.
That's what my uncle said, because he got me right in the nose.
Yeah, you got me out there fishing, huh?
Yeah, the fishing for impeachment inquiries. Yeah.
She just wants you to know that she does not hate anybody, right? You don't hate anybody in your family. You don't hate.
No, I don't hate anybody.
She hates me.
No, she says she doesn't hate you.
I don't believe her.
Well, she says she doesn't hate you.
She's a liar.
I mean, she's told me.
There's a word stronger than hate. I wish I could use for the president, but he is our president.
Yeah, she has she's accused you of being a Russian agent.
Horrible crimes and lies.
But she doesn't hate you.
She doesn't hate me. Well, look here.
Imagine if she did.
Imagine if she hated me. How worse would it be? With her weird nose Band-Aid.
All right, now. I saw you last night at the rally.
No Band-Aids.
Can I just say something?
What?
You do better with the humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing the humor, the funny stuff, it's good.
He will also do better with a more tailored
I don't know what you said.
Nancy, look into his moisturizer.
I think he would do better with a more tailored suit.
I think that Taylor Swift?
Taylor suit.
Potato soup. Okay, I've got it.
This lady wears a dress made for people half her age. Look, she stuffs everything into it. I bet you wouldn't. Anyway.
All right, you two. Let's separate. I just want to say,
it's like watching a candle melt.
I saw a little bit of that rally.
You're one of those candles from Helen, Georgia.
Hey,
the ones with the peels.
This is not senior citizen, Harlem Theater. Where's it?
What?
What am I thinking of? Your mom was so fat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the theater.
The Apollo?
The Apollo.
Yes,
the Apollo Theater. It's the theater in Harlem.
Night at the Old People Apollo.
It's an old person's home. It's right next to the Apollo.
I got you a Christmas present, Donald Trump.
Get her out!
What'd you get?
I got you a Christmas present.
What'd you get?
It's a walker, I put tennis balls on the bottom for you.
Oh, is it your husband's? Did he get a new one?
We're supposed to be doing studies. So I just want to
He's
say,
a very
honestly.
virile man.
Hold on.
Doesn't need any help. He's
I
fine.
honestly want to say that I think that Trump does better with the humor, the parts of the rally that I saw last night. But then there were other parts where I just felt like it was almost, this is a weird reference because if you don't know, you don't know, and most people don't know. But I kind of got a little bit of that Lenny Bruce feel at the end of his, Lenny Bruce is supposed to be a comedian. And by the end, because he used so many words on stage, he was in so many court cases, and people would go see him, and all he would do is he would just get out there and read the court cases.
Yes,
and
the court
talk about how
what
many.
The court said, what they do is they file these charges. See, and it would be allowed to say whatever way you want.
I feel bad, but we came here for some comedy. We like to.
Yeah, I'll give you some comedy. This is funny. You know what's funny? It's getting arrested for speaking your mind on a stage. Come on. The cat's out there doing this and that. And there's jiving and that. And you got the black guy in Harlem, and you got the Puerto Rican guy on the other side of town. We all get together and we talk. And we do the thing and we talk, and here, let me read it. Okay, 4 charges for insanity. We find the defendant.
Did you know that he goes through the whole list? And there were some funny moments, and if I get to it now, we'll never get to studies, surveys, and whatever. So you want to get to it now and do studies, surveys later, or what do you want to do? It's up to you, Jared Yamamoto.
You know what? I think why not? We're talking about it already. Right. There were some funny moments that happened.
You told me it's the most pushable segment, so I just pushed it again.
We're just following through with our promise. So when he opened the night, he talked about how much he loved Pennsylvania.
Oh, don't we all?
Hello, Pennsylvania.
Hello.
It's great to be back in this state that gave us the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania Steel, Hershey chocolate. I like Hershey.
You're a big fan of Hershey.
I love Hershey. Who needs Godiva? We like milk chocolate. Sweet milk chocolate. Not that Chinese chocolate. Those aren't raisins. It's rat poop. Who gets their Chinese chocolate? Nobody likes it. Okay, Pennsylvania, we're the Amish. We like we love them. We don't know who they vote for, but we love them. They make the best meth, don't they? With the beer. They build barns, and when the barns are done, they cook meth in the barns. It's the best. Some people think West Virginia, but I think Pennsylvania. Home of the Little League Museum. And the longest stretch of porno stores in the entire country. Because our truckers need a break, don't they, folks? They work hard. They work really hard.
Hello, Pennsylvania.
God, I love you.
It's great to be back in this state that gave us the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania Steel, Hershey chocolate. I like Hershey chocolate.
Elkland, which is a town named after elk, only there aren't any elk. What happened to the elk?
What about Lebanon, Pennsylvania?
Well,
Isn't the bologna capital of the world?
Lebanon bologna. It's purple, it's white. What is it? I don't know, but it's tasty. It's really good. Look, you could get it cubed at the Unimart with Colby cheese.
Is anybody noticing they're doing polling in these states that he won last time around that pushed him over the top? Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. And he's up like 6-7 points in those. He only won them barely by 1%. So I don't make predictions anymore, but here's my prediction. All things being equal, meaning we're not in a new shooting war, the economy doesn't go into a recession or something like that by next year. I don't see him losing. I may sound foolish in a year, but I don't see him. If you look at the polling, everything that's been going on. You remember George Bush got knocked down to somewhere. Remember he was like at 24% at one point. George W. This is not happening at this. Given all of this that's going on, he seems to actually be doing a little better in the polling, especially in some of these swing states.
Well, and that's because he says that America's lucky to have him.
We've never had anything like this. You're so lucky I became your president, Norman. I'm only kidding. I have to say I'm kidding, because the fake news back there will take that.
Boo him! That's right, boo him. Fake news back there.
Boy, he was charged last night. I think he let his emotions get a little bit the better of him from time to time. But when he's funny, I think he just needs to understand. He doesn't need my opinion. He got elected president one time. He can do it again, I suppose. But I think you take humor. I think people are so sick and tired of all of this. You take humor and the economy and basically peace that we have, and you run on that. But I think the humor thing works better than, at one point he was saying Obama's middle name again, which I've never dug that. I don't get. Listen, Your name is no reflection of anything you've ever thought about. It's just understood by people. You don't name yourself. Your name is a reflection of the people who named you. It's not a reflection of you. And this is America. And one of the great things about it, one of the many great things about America is it was one of the first places on earth that the son was not on the hook for the crimes of the father or the brother. That's the problem with most of the world. You look around the world and you wonder, why are people have 1,000-year wars? Why? This seems ridiculous to me. The reason is, if you punched my great-grandfather in the face, well, we have to fight now because you're on the hook for things that other people did. And in a little bit of a way, this idea, I don't like it. I don't like that thing from the right, Barack Hussein, Obama. No, just stop for a second, have some courage, and tell me just exactly what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say? And then next time, say it. Don't hide behind some sort of clever thing. Say it, own up to it, answer to it. But just throwing it out there as if he was born and before they named him, he said, hey.
Hey, hold on a minute. Before you give me that bottle.
I want something to say about my middle name.
Before you give me the bottle, name me something that'll be polarizing 50 years from now.
If you use that as a negative, you're a moron. It's just that simple. All right. Might as well continue on with the rally. There was one part I was watching where I thought it was rather funny where he started talking about what all this impeachment stuff and the Mueller stuff and the Russia hoax stuff, in his words, Russia hoax stuff, would have done to another president.
Somebody said, a regular president, I don't want to use the word normal because that's not a nice normal refer.
Stop right there.
A regular...
When he was doing that, I was like, what is he? Oh, I see. Because if he would have said normal, then he would have been implying that he wasn't normal.
Somebody said, a regular president, I don't want to use the word normal because that's not a nice normal refer. A regular president would have been under a table, thumb in the mouth, saying, take me home, mommy, this is too tough for me. It's true.
Take me home, mommy. Too tough.
Well, I'm trying to think of I'm thinking of those old-timey presidents, the ones with the big handlebar mustaches and, those kind of guys.
You mean a guy from the 1800s?
Yeah.
One of those guys, yeah. Mallard Fillmore? Oh, no, that's a comic strip.
Millard
Fillmore.
Yeah.
He would have been crying, Mommy, take me home, I'm a wig. Wig.
Rutherford B. Hayes.
That guy, what did I do? Oh, I got the train. Ooh, whoopee, I connected East Coast to West Coast. Ooh, but I can't handle a little impeachment.
I genuinely, I only watched about 20 minutes or so, and I genuinely thought that sometimes he was highly effective, and then other times he kind of got wrapped up in his own thing enough that I think he started to sense that he lost the crowd a little bit, and he would just jump right back on script because he was genuinely angry, and then you got to be careful in those situations. Your emotions get the better of you. Every once in a while, I thought that did happen, but I imagine it was an hour and a half long or something, and I saw 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, he did have some moments where he went after the 2020 candidates again, and that was pretty funny.
I mean, you have Alfred E. Newman who's running, who's like this guy. This guy, Buttigieg. Can you believe he's doing well? He's like the leading fundraiser. I dream about him.
You dream about him?
I dream about him. It's true.
What kind of dreams are you having?
We're on a road trip to Vegas. He's driving. I'm a savant. We're going through a lot of corn. Look, I saw Rain Man last week. Gotta watch Wapner. I'm an excellent driver all day.
So basically, you were watching Rain Man and you had a dream.
258 toothpicks.
Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. And I believe, now what we're going to do is we're going to do studies, surveys, polls, reports, and etc.
You sure not going to push it again?
I'm not going to push it again. Well, we did push it. We pushed it into this area here. But I know you have a couple open mics before we get to that. We're not going to play the open mic from the guy. By the way, anybody who calls in, if you call in with an open mic, I don't care if you're from the left or the right with this I've never cracked a smile attitude about, Eric, I just heard you say something that blah, blah. It's not going to get on the air. It's this is entertaining radio. Well, how about if we called him Obama? How about if you looked in the mirror or a calendar and recognized that guy ain't been president for 3 years? He's moved on. You need to move on. And the same, I could pick a thing from the left as well. I'm tired of this. Hey, you know why talk radio's changing? One reason. Damn it, I decided it is. And if you're going to call in here and sound like talk radio in 2007, well, we'll have a good laugh behind the scenes, but you're not getting on. You got to have something new to say. You got to have something. I'm not interested in your anger. These people from the left and the right that are chronically angry. Angry people, you don't know this if you're one of them, because when you're inside of yourself, you're not aware necessarily. But chronically angry people are boring. And hopefully I just woke you up, because your friends and family have wanted to tell you this for a good long time, but they love you. You see, I don't love you, so I can tell you. And just start things off with, if you're going to be chronically angry, to me, you're coming in, you're still angry about Obama. You might as well come in with like, Eric, I'll tell you what, this Lyndon Baines Johnson. Morons. This thing with the Hussein in the middle name. Hey, that's a good idea. That's a good idea for Trumpers. What, your guy, with no evidence whatsoever, not a shred of evidence, a lot of people accuse your guy of being a double agent of a foreign government. So in response, yeah, you should probably, with no evidence whatsoever, cast aspersions yourself and throw a middle name in there that you don't have the nads to actually say what you want to say, but you're angry enough and unclever enough to believe that that's actually clever. That's my news. When you say Barack Hussein Obama and you snicker to yourself, you're the only one snickering. It's not clever. You're just showing yourself to be somebody who repeats things they've heard on the radio or on their favorite 24-hour news network. And that ain't going to happen on this show, because why is talk radio changing? Well, damn it, because I said so. Now, what's...
James Earl Carter, what is he, royalty? Some fancy pants from England?
Well, he's the Earl of... You ain't the Earl of my kingdom.
Is he the Earl of Peanuts?
I mean, my middle name. You could try to... What is he, a Nazi?
Von?
Eric von Haessler?
Whatever, German.
One more time, people. I'd like somebody to have an argument against this. No one picks their name. Your name is not a reflection of your wants or your personality. It's a reflection of your parents' personality. As far as I know, Obama's parents were never president. All right.
All right, so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What's that? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you choose your name... and you change your name yourself.
Meta World Peace?
Meta World Peace is responsible for his name.
Offset.
There you go. All rappers are responsible for their own name because they chose them themselves. Okay. There's the exception that proves the rule. Yes.
Now, these are all open mics from the WSB Radio app, and you were talking yesterday. Actually, you talked about a lot over the last week about how...
Are you implying that I talk too much about it? It sounds to me as
you
if
really have talked a lot.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I get it. All right. I get the hint.
But how upset you are that when you fly on some airline here in town, one of the largest airlines here in town.
One that starts with a D, ends with an A, and has Elt in the middle.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. They have Cheez-Its now.
Instead of having pretzels, and you've complained about it, and this open micer wants to take you to task.
Oh.
This is Grant Brewer of Canton. Eric, you need to expand your palate. And Cheez-Its are awesome. It's about time they upgraded from pretzels.
Hey, look,
boring.
Look, I've had Cheez-Its and enjoyed them before. Here's the problem with a light snack on the plane. Cheez-Its, to me, don't go with soda. Like a pretzel is neutral. I can have a ginger ale and a pretzel.
What kind of
Eric,
monster
I've
are
never
you?
been more hurt.
Yeah, well, I'm being very controversial today.
My thing with Cheez-Its is you take 2 or 3, you put them in your mouth, you chew them just a little bit, you take a little sip of soda.
Get her out!
I'm telling you, it's the best. It is my go-to garbage. So I'm sitting on the couch and I want to eat.
If I see you on a plane, are you doing this little nonsense thing? Something weird. This lady next to me, she puts 3 Cheez-Its in her mouth.
Yeah.
And then she takes a small...
Yeah, you look at me and you think, crazy. And then you try it and you think, I want to marry this person.
No, I think, how did this person get through security?
Hey, the other day I bought the cheddar ones, the white cheddar ones.
Yeah,
big mistake.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
They're
huge.
horrible. I brought them here and put them in the food. Where people bring the food they don't like.
Yeah.
Left it there. Somebody ate it.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to get the Cheez-Its that do have the extra stuff on them.
No, just the plain old orange ones.
And the giant ones, the big ones are really good.
You guys
too.
are talking about this stuff like it's a.
Oh, and the burnt ones are good.
Oh yeah.
It's not a delicacy.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
it's an American delicacy.
Eric,
hold on.
You are out of your element. You need to take a seat.
American delicacy.
Oh, I need to just sit down?
Yes, let Tim and I take
Full
over.
stop.
Maisie Hirono telling me Eric just needs to sit down and shut up on this one.
Yeah, you can sit down with your pretzels.
Pretzels are a tool of white oppression.
I'm impressed by your pretzel talk.
When I fly, I drink
Typically,
ginger ale.
Eric Von Haessler would
when
want
I
a
fly,
pretzel.
I drink ginger ale. And
Ich bin eine Pretzel.
Ginger ale. No, I'm a jelly donut. I'm not a pretzel. Isn't that what I always heard?
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yeah, I always heard that John Kennedy got that wrong and that he actually said to people, I'm a jelly donut or something. He meant to say, I too am a Berliner.
Right, which would be Ich bin
ein
Berliner. But he said eine, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that some people think that he got it wrong. But you know what? He paid the price. I don't think we should.
Fitzgerald Kennedy. What's that mean, Fitzgerald?
John Fitzgerald Kennedy. We know.
Typical.
We know what you're up to.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do...
now, this open micer is awesome.
Yeah?
Hey, Eric, I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for thousands of kids, for Clark's Christmas Kids.
Oh, that's very nice, but I can't take any congratulations for that because it's Clark Howard. And Clark Howard's Christmas Kids, we've had a record-setting start over the weekend. Thanks to you, the listeners. Look, it's not too late to join in 95.5 WSB's annual campaign to take care of Christmas for all of Georgia's foster kids. We're getting presents for over 10,000 foster kids this year. We need your help. We're going to be at more Walmarts over the next couple of weeks. The complete schedule of events and Walmart locations is available on WSBradio.com or on your WSB radio app. Should I have him open it up again?
We should.
We should, because, you have a Clive Cliverson, my radio guru / consultant. He's always saying, Eric, you got a new audience. They're rolling over.
New people every 10 minutes.
They don't know. You don't know. They don't know what you did before.
Nah.
So let's go ahead and let's do this.
Okay.
It's time for studies, surveys, and polls on the Von Haessler Doctrine.
We promise.
Let's start with a study.
Hey, look, this is your bailiwick, man.
All right,
We'll start with a study.
This is a new study that is offering up a potentially game-changing option for heavy drinkers out there.
All right, so you're talking to yourself right now, then, right? Okay, all right. We'll pretend. Okay, go ahead. I could be your sounding board if your alcohol sounding board. Sure.
I think plenty of other people are feeling this, but they're trying to find a way to curb their alcohol use. And
I know a way. You don't drink. This is amazing to me that we have to. You just don't drink. See, what happens is you want to get drunk, and you say, "Yeah, I want to, but I got all these other reasons not to, and I'm just going to not do that."
That makes sense.
Well, you ever do you can just sit down and just do a crossword puzzle or something, and
while
not
I'm
get
drinking?
Drunk. No, you don't have to get drunk. Matter of fact, you'll finish the puzzle quicker if you're not.
I'll think about that.
People wonder how to stop doing things that you just have to. It's called willpower. I was watching something else about because I'm losing weight and stuff, and there's so much. There's another diet. I guess it's not new, but it was a big in 2019. I guess is the fasting thing where you eat a bunch
intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting. And it's still, I read this stuff and say, no, it's not going to. People may be losing weight now. They're going to put it back on because if you're intermittent fasting, you're still focused on eating. You've just changed the schedule. And so it's about, when you can eat in those hours that you can eat, it's considered, those are the good hours. When you can't eat, those are the bad hours. Those are the negative hours. In reality, you're not going to lose weight until you come right up to the fact that sometimes you're going to want to eat and you simply have to decide not to eat. You can't get around that. Plus, move around. And that applies to this as well. Go ahead.
So the researchers at
You don't want to drink, don't drink.
Well,
you don't want to do meth, don't do meth.
The researchers
You don't want to do heroin, don't do heroin.
The researchers at College London, or UCL for short.
You don't want to stay married, don't say, I'm sorry, that was my own little issue.
Projecting?
So these researchers at UCL have found that a one-off ketamine dose could help you curb your drinking habits.
Is that Special K, what they used to call Special K ketamine?
Yeah, it is.
Now,
horse tranquilizer, I believe.
Horse tranquilizer. Well, it seems to me you might want to make sure that is, I don't know, divvied up properly. You don't want to take too much horse tranquilizer.
Just one more line, and I'll be all right. Just one more.
So how does this now? So this keeps you from drinking, but then you're hooked on ketamine. What is the difference? It's like I
can quit whenever I want.
What's the heroin replacement?
The stuff that kills you.
I don't know.
Yeah, eventually.
No. The heroin replacement that the government gives you.
God, I forgot.
Nobody
it's been
knows.
so long.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does temporarily get you off heroin, but you're hooked on that. The reason that it's a heroin replacement, yes.
Well, now Dr. Das from UCL, University College London, says...
Dr. Das, he's good.
He says, quote... He says, quote, basically, once our brains associate drinking or another drug with feelings of euphoria and reward, it is usually very hard to completely do away with urges to retain those feelings. But this one allows you to take less of something. So way...
you have to take...
Methadone.
Methadone, thank you. That was it. Yeah, it's like, hey, congratulations. You're not hooked on heroin anymore, but you are hooked on methadone, and we'll give it to you. So...
Oh, cool. I don't have to buy it.
Sorry, please continue.
Know if heroin people think it's, is it feel like heroin, or is it heroin light?
No, it just stops you from getting sick.
Yeah,
you don't get high.
Sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's a little.
You could also take ayahuasca.
You were on methadone for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, just recreationally.
Yeah. Yeah, you had trouble kicking the horse, as I recall.
Oh, yeah, just to get me over the hump, Hump day.
Autumn went through we call her H years.
Oh, yeah.
Always strung out. My goodness. But, one day she just woke up and said, you know what? This is the last set of teeth I'm going to purchase. And she just got off the heroin. It's very good.
Yeah.
You're very strong.
I was tired of buying teeth.
You're a very strong woman.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
All right, the dog walking app Rover. Have you ever heard of that before?
Well, I've heard of a bunch of them. I've heard of a bunch of them. Rover.
Is it spelled R-O-V-R?
I think it is spelled that way. I'll double check on it.
Well, that would make it a tech startup disruptor. We're disrupting dogs.
It actually is spelled correctly, R-O-V-E-R.
Yeah, it's so basically it's a they check the backgrounds of the people who walk your dogs, right? Then they come and walk your dogs.
Well, they've come up with this great survey where they've discovered what the top dog names for 2019 in Atlanta are.
Oh, is that a tease?
Oh, you won't believe what these names are.
If I was in a car in my office right now and you gave me that tease, that if I stick around, you will tell me the most popular dog names in America, I would definitely be listening to sports radio within the next 5 minutes. All right. You cannot hold our listeners in suspense any longer. It would simply be cruel after that tease when you promised the city that when we got back, you would let us know what the most popular dog names
of 2019. This list was compiled by the dog walking app Rover.
Yeah, well, they know what they're talking about.
Oh, they're great over there.
Because they walk dogs.
Yes.
And cats.
We're disrupting the dog walking industry.
Yeah. Take that big dog walker.
Yeah, I look forward to his TED Talk.
It's like a 12-year-old kid in the neighborhood.
Their TED Talk.
So the top female...
Does anybody watch TED Talks anymore?
I used to, but not anymore.
Hi, guys. As adults, I want to show you today that we need to learn how to play like kids. Next. All right, go ahead.
So the top female name is Bella.
Bella?
Bella, yeah. Followed by Luna.
I have a friend named Bella. Not a dog. This is a person.
Well.
A great person.
Now you can...
An artist.
Asbug?
Excuse me?
Nothing.
No.
The top male name is Max.
Were you just named with noises?
Bella Asbug.
Oh, no. What's it? Abzug.
Oh, that one.
What's an Asbug? The lady with the hats from New York?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, people don't know what the hell you're talking about.
We need those sound effects.
No, it's okay. It turns out that we're doing too well, and we need moments like that to give the competition a chance.
Put Tim in a penalty box.
The top male dog net is Max, followed by Charlie.
Max or Max?
Max.
Max and Charlie. Wow. Well, it was a very creative year.
Max and Charlie.
Oh, those are some crazy names.
Yep.
Hey, you got Cooper at third.
Cooper. That's a tire.
Oh, I like that.
That's a tire.
I like it.
It's two things. It's a tire or the one brother that didn't make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's what I think of when you give me Cooper.
What about Buddy? Come on, that's
you
four.
You can go through this whole thing. You got another study for me? I don't care. Buddy.
I do.
Might as well not even come up with a name.
Yeah.
Hey, Buddy.
That's my parents' dog's name is Buddy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be Mark Aram's dog's name.
Hey, buddy. No, his is Bosco.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Hey,
Which is
buddy.
Italian for buddy.
That music says that I have to do the tease now.
I can't do my wallet hub study?
Sorry, because I can't push WTF because Autumn's a lady. And in the old days, we could push her segments, but now it's deemed misogynist.
Get her out!
Yeah, no, we got to leave her in. And when we get back, WTF with Autumn Fisher. Oh, yes.
Say it, you crooked bastard, say it.
That was at one point last night. I don't know.
Say it, you crooked bastard, say it.
Who's he talking about?
He's talking about, I think he's talking about Schiff. And I the longer cut of that. Do you have the longer cut of that?
I do.
I don't really, I think he's talking about Schiff. I'm not sure, but I couldn't quite understand what he was saying in this line. I love the way it ended.
Say it, you crooked bastard, say it.
No other president has ever said that before. Am I right?
Ford, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. He was known to.
You crooked bastard.
So, yeah.
There are the facts on Shifty Schiff. This honest guy makes up my statements. He said the president of Ukraine repeatedly declared that there was no pressure, but he didn't want to say that. We said, say it, you crooked bastard, say it.
Say it. Now I think I'm getting what he was saying. Schiff should have let people know that the president of Ukraine is on the record saying there was no pressure.
But he won't because he's crooked.
Say it, you crooked bastard, say it.
This impeachment, man, this is given license for just going.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what got him to the White House the first time.
It's going to energize him for next year.
Well, look, those people were standing 10,000. I don't know how many people were inside that arena last night, but we saw them yesterday morning on MSNBC on the monitor up there. There were thousands of people at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
In the rain.
Even some of the reporters I saw were like,
yeah,
wow.
you got me. It's hard to hear. This is Katie Tur. What is she from?
MSNBC.
Is she the one we saw up there we were talking about that was at the rally doing reports?
Yes.
Well, she was there, and this is just her saying to somebody else that this is the biggest rally I've ever seen. I think you got to listen close.
It's one of the biggest rallies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was just off mic. Like she was in the scrum of other reporters. But, if you look back at how wrong almost everybody was about whether or not he could get elected, there was this idea that, yeah, he can get thousands and thousands of people at a rally, but that's never going to translate to the polls. Well, we saw that it did. That we're a year out, and in reaction to impeachment and everything else that's going on, it seems to me like he's got the stronger hand. I don't know. Have you seen that Bloomberg is actually up to like 6-7%? So, I mean, there may be some thought on the Democrat side that, maybe billionaire businessman versus billionaire businessman. Somebody was he was an executive as the
left
mayor.
won't abide that, though. They hate him.
Do they hate him?
Yeah,
He's real big on gun control. He's real big on the nanny state.
Old white billionaire.
Yeah, well, what's Joe Biden? An old white guy who's doesn't have $1 billion.
Hey, buddy, I'm not quite a billionaire. Got a couple mil.
It's okay to be old and white, but just a multimillionaire. You got to stop there. That's
a couple
what the ceiling
mil,
is.
me and Hunter.
All right, well, I don't want to push Autumn. She's a lady, and it's going to be 2020 very soon. And I respect the hell out of ladies. You know that. All right, let's do this.
What the?
Seriously, what the?
WTF with Autumn Fisher.
I think they're better than us, Tim. The women.
Yeah, the fairer sex.
They're the fairer.
Hey, that's not cool.
That's not cool. That's saying that you can't be an astronaut or something. I think women make better astronauts.
Well, I thought it meant like we play fair.
No. Fairer means you're easier on the eyes.
Oh.
So that's not a good thing. That's not a good Me Too thing. It has nothing to do with.
I thought it was like women empowerment.
Yeah, you thought it meant you were even-handed. No,
yeah,
it doesn't mean that.
We're not going to cheat at this game. Everybody gets a turn.
All right. What's WTF?
What's the hubbub?
What the
Savannah 10K runner.
All right, hold on. Slow down. What Savannah 10K runner?
Sorry.
Savannah. Should I push this? Can you not speak?
I can do it.
Do you have the ability?
I have the ability.
Right.
Savannah 10K runner.
Okay, so they're running a 10K in Savannah.
Yes, who slapped the hiney of a reporter on live TV as he was running by.
Was this a Thanksgiving race there or something? Well, what would be the big deal that you would actually have a local reporter at a 10K? Like here it would be
a really big one.
Savannah's small.
No, I mean what I'm saying is here the big one is the Peachtree Road Race, and that's on 4th of July. So I'm assuming since this is recently in the news, maybe in Savannah they have a big road race on Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. Black Friday. Anyway,
Does it really
I'm
matter?
trying to give context to this story.
Wow. Well, good thing we went down that road and didn't find out any information.
Yeah. Well, I've been off that road for 30 seconds, and you're still on it.
It's the Savannah. It's the Savannah Bridge Run.
Oh,
they
okay.
do it every year.
That makes sense because they're trying to run that bridge out of town.
Still isn't working. I don't understand.
It's a very obstinate bridge. Obstinate.
Get rid of it.
Stuck in it.
We walk all over it.
All right. What happened?
Yeah, so this runner slapped the hiney of a reporter doing a live report.
I got you.
And he has been identified. He's a youth pastor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Boy Scout leader.
Oh boy!
And so it's kind of interesting in this particular article. There's a video with it, and they show it happening, and they have this very ominous music playing behind it.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, and then she does get slapped on the butt. She is shocked. She talks later in the article about how he hurt me both physically and emotionally.
Oh wow!
And that he took her power away and stuff like that. Oh,
for heaven's sakes! That's the kind of person I want to put in the field. Hey, if we need someone for Syria, sign her up because she's tough as nails.
Yeah,
she's being hurt emotionally.
No, I don't think anyone agrees that he should be allowed to do that.
Right.
He shouldn't do that.
No, it's 2019. I think he should be stripped of everything he's ever achieved, and he shouldn't be allowed to work ever again.
They're working on that.
Yeah.
It was insane how fast the Twitterverse got a hold of him.
Well, wasn't he doxxed and all this kind of stuff?
Doxxed, his image, his workplace, all that.
And all that from that video. They just screenshotted him. They were able to locate where he was from, find out all of his background, and again, put it all out there.
So he's if he's a youth pastor, he's probably rather public in his in what he does, so it's probably not that difficult to find. But now, my understanding, I didn't see this, and I don't know if this is true, but was she out there in the middle of the race, blocking them as they went by?
Side.
Yeah, she was on the side, but other people were heckling her and
going in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You know what happens when the camera's on and someone's doing a live shot, like they do with the Peachtree Road Race.
People are idiots.
People come up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay Black last year
got kissed by a girl.
He got kissed. I mean, how is that not a story?
Hey, hands off. Hands off.
Yeah, wait a minute. Just a second.
Stole my humanity.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared when Jay Black was kissed on the lips by a girl
I did.
At the Peachtree Road Race.
Look,
and he went red. He went beat red. This Jay Black.
That's her.
How come that didn't make the news? This is a good point.
I didn't go complain about it.
That's more of a violation, right? If you're getting kissed on the lips.
I would guess, but I think that the difference in gender makes.
Did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know this? That that famous shot in Times Square after the war of the soldier kissing, is she a nurse in Times Square?
Yeah, they know
kissing her for years and years and years. I mean, I've known that picture since I was 5 years old. That was the end of the war. People were so happy. They were just kissing strangers. And then on the whatever anniversary, they found the lady, and she goes, I felt completely violated and creeped out. I didn't know who that guy was. It just so happens what we thought for years and years was either a reunion or just people so joyous. She was totally creeped out. Some stranger just decided he was going to give her a big old kiss in the middle of Times Square.
It looks so romantic, though, the way that he dipped her and cradling her like that.
She was like, I was scared.
Yeah.
So this has been going on a long time, and this guy shouldn't have done it, right? I mean,
no, and he is.
We're on the right side of history here, right, people? I mean,
yeah, and plus she's going to get offered a big job, and everyone in the country knows who she is now. That's just a fact.
You're just saying that this might help.
The collateral damage is good for her career. Is all I'm saying.
All she's done
is that all you're saying?
Yes.
All she's done is file a police report. Yeah. There's not she's not trying to involve him criminally, anything like that. And
is
she
it a
crime?
It is a crime, isn't it?
I mean, it's probably an assault.
You're not allowed to spank a reporter during a live
simple battery.
Yeah.
Right. So, and she says that she.
I thought simple battery is when you're beaten up by a dumb guy. No.
Oh, we can't. Tim.
Oh, why would you set the table and not let us sit at it?
Why would you do that?
Hey,
I told you people, nobody goes further than me. That's the rule. Yes.
Hey, at minimum, she works in Market 146, Savannah.
Oh.
She's going to
Are you
move
making fun of her? Because what market do you work in?
I work in Market 8.
Yeah, but she works in TV, which makes her twice as beautiful. So in reality, you know how there's dog ears? There's TV markets. So, yeah, you work in the 7th market for radio. 8th. Okay. But in TV markets, she's still ahead of you.
But also...
Radio to TV. The
I didn't get
market,
spanked, though.
No, because you're a guy.
What I would like to say is we should not put the blame on her for Twitter's response.
No,
all
I know
she
that.
did was react to it and do what she felt she had to do, which was, I guess, file a police report. She didn't dox him. She's not filing criminal anything against him.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's just the way it goes these days.
Yeah.
You know, people on Twitter are nuts. That's why I'm not there.
Yeah,
obviously, you're listening to me right now. I'm a very rational, reasonable, sane person. Why would I be on Twitter?
Let's talk about someone who's not sane.
Tim Andrews?
I'm sane.
No, his name is Yuri Tolochko.
Yeah, that's a good
He's from
name.
Kazakhstan.
Nobody in Kazakhstan is. You know why? Because that space program has been there for so long, and there's all this radiation. That's where they blast into space, isn't it?
Yes, that's where the Russian space program.
She's laughing at me like I made it up, but that's where the space
all
program
their nuclear tests were there, and all of their space programs.
That's where they blast off. That's how we get
Cosmonauts.
Cosmonauts is what they are.
All right.
Yes.
No, I'm trying to marry Kazakhstan and astronauts.
Well, you did a very poor job of it, I must say.
Kazakhnuts.
You made a poor job.
That's what I just said.
You want to fight?
Get her out.
I'm giving you time on the radio to do your little segment.
It's a little segment.
It's her little. She likes to do her little segment. Let her do her little segment.
Yeah, Yuri Tolochko from Kazakhstan. He's going to marry his sex robot girlfriend.
Oh.
Her name is Margot. And he paid for the doll to have plastic surgery.
Wow.
He couldn't do it
and
himself?
Also, he talks about how they get into arguments.
They get into arguments all the time.
She's always telling me to clean up the room.
They drink a lot in Kazakhstan.
Then she says to me, well, when are you going to wash me? I said, well, the creek is frozen over. I can't take you out there if we don't have the running water.
Do the sex robots have different accents? Like, is it just like the Siri voice, or is it...
That's it. I have the voice of the Siri. I said, now it's time to make love. Then I push a button. She says...
I searched the web for "It's time to make love." Here's what I found.
Very romantic.
This is...
Show me what you found, Siri.
This isn't the weirdest thing, because there's guys in Japan who are marrying pillowcases.
Losers.
Yeah, they're like anime characters out of this. That's the truth, yeah? Oh, yeah, you say that guy's a loser.
What a loser.
Yeah, losers.
I'd like to know about he got, what do you got, face? What did you say? That he had cosmetic surgery done on a sex robot?
Yes.
My goodness.
The nose was big.
Nobody tweaks your funny bone like these guys. Eric Von Haessler, weekday mornings at 9, and Mark Aram, weekday evenings at 6 on 95.5 WSB.
We are right slap dab in the middle of WTF with Autumn Fisher, so give me one more story.
Sure. Saudi Arabia will no longer require restaurants to have separate entrances segregated by sex.
Oh, that's so exciting. Wow. All right. Yeah. Are they allowed to dress them any way they want?
No, slow down.
No.
I don't know.
Slow down. Progress is slow.
They are allowed to travel without permission from a male guardian.
What, in 2019, women can travel without permission of a male guardian? Or guardian?
What is this world coming to?
Yeah, there's I want the Saudi Arabian Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker. Oh, stifle it now, would you? Falafel head. Take off your outfit and go get me some water.
But I want to say to all the young, really energized feminists in America, you live in a world where people are applauding themselves because in 2019, women are allowed to go to a restaurant. So I think you're doing at least better. I'm not saying, hey, the struggle continues, right?
That's right. Progress is progress.
I'd rather be a woman here than be a woman there. That's just me. By the way, I want to let everybody know, I am a woman. We'll get... Oh, I didn't let you know that?
No.
When we return.
Okay, tease.
Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Was this a scandal with Lizzo? I don't know Lizzo's music. I just like her because I just think that
man great till it gotta be great.
So is that her music?
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't know her music. I just think she's
funny.
She's kind of cool. She's funny.
She plays the flute.
Hey, anybody who play... Hey, there's 2 people I love. No, 3. The guy from Jethro Tull.
Okay.
Peter Gabriel, when he was with Genesis. And now that guy, the Lizzo. Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. So
they're the best flautists.
The best flautist. They should tour together. You know, like the
3 flautists?
Like the 4 tenors did.
Yeah.
Was it 3 tenors or 4?
I lose track.
I lose track after a while. They're all in trouble, either dead or Me Too trouble now, right? So what is she started twerking with a bare butt at the Lakers game?
Right, which is part of what she does during her shows.
Yeah, I mean bare cheeks.
Oh, okay.
But that's what she does, though, during her shows. I've seen Lizzo...
No, she wasn't at her show. She was at a Lakers game.
But it's
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal. What do you? I brought my kids here today, and I don't. Okay. Well.
People act like they never heard of. Remember Sam Kinison or any comedians that we grew up with acting like that?
Yeah.
She's just having fun.
She's having fun. It's fine with me. Let her have some fun. Let her enjoy herself.
Yeah.
She seems
very positive.
I
like positive people.
She puts on a great show, too.
You saw her? What does she do?
You.
She just shakes around a lot, or does she actually put on a good show?
She's actually very talented.
Yeah?
I went in there with low expectations for Lizzo. The first time I saw her was at Music Midtown this year, and I went in with very low expectations, and she was excellent.
She's got a positive vibe.
One of my favorite shows.
I'm in favor of positive vibes. I don't know the music. But
you don't have to like the music.
You have a little on tap there, Alan? Can we play it? Does she swear in her music?
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Ooh, child, tired of
it's got some rhythm. It's fun. I like it.
Yes, Lord. Trying to get
that's
some
good music.
in there, swimwear,
wrong with that?
to the pool sheet. Come now, come dry your eyes. You know you a star.
Did she say something there?
Yeah.
What?
Nope.
No.
Let's keep going.
No, not at all. Hey, I like her. Even if she gets me in trouble, I like her. It's fine with me. She's positive. All right,
awesome.
Let's do this.
More headlines for Wednesday, December 11th.
Who's this now? I don't know. Oh, this is your music.
Well, you know that Doctrine voice lady loves to go to EDM shows, too.
I know that. That's where you guys met.
Yeah, it's where we met. We started hanging out.
She never mind.
She was sweating. I didn't know what was going on.
She was sweating. She was rolling. And
it's fine. I know what I'm doing.
You look a little dehydrated. You might want to get some water.
I don't need any water. Get away from me.
I know you love the jams.
But, the water brings me down. I'm trying to stay up.
You've been
December 11th, 2019.
At least she still knows the date.
She says she knows. All right. She says she knows what she's doing.
Hey, she knows the date and the time and the segment. That's all you need.
Just looks
don't touch me.
A little dehydrated. I'm not trying to touch. Just worried about you.
You're sweating on your.
Being dehydrated means it's working.
Okay.
You could have wore a little more of an outfit. I mean, really
not wearing much there, Doctrine voice lady.
These are my pasties. I don't wear them for you.
Okay.
Why are you? Yeah, I know you're not wearing them for me, but I just have to be honest and say they are in some way affecting me.
Why are your cheeks sweating, Doctrine voice lady?
My cheeks are sweating out the toxins. I'm trying to keep them in. That's why I'm not drinking water.
I didn't realize that. I guess there are sweat glands on the cheeks. All right, what?
So sweaty cheeks here.
Sweaty cheeks.
Autumn's middle of her back. She sweats. She sweats from places where she doesn't have. There's no sweat glands. Nobody understands it. She's a science. She's a miracle of science.
My back sweats.
She sweats in the middle of her back. I don't know
more than like my head, my forehead or something. Like I don't ever drip sweat.
So you should be studied by science. You maybe have sweat glands in the wrong places.
Yeah, it's like a deformity that you can't see.
Maybe you can make some money out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, get to
come and see the wonder of the world. She sweats from her back.
I'll tell you what. I'll put you on a flatbed truck. We'll take you around and we'll charge.
People who are sweating from their forehead dripping down in the summertime. I can feel it in my back.
Amazing. Was it? Step right up.
See the amazing back sweater. No woman on earth sweats as much from her back as this freak of nature. Only 25 cents. 25 cents. Step in the tent and experience the horror.
All right. Give me some stories. I don't listen to WSB to hear about Autumn's sweat glands.
All right, I've got a headline from TMZ.
You were supposed to be banned.
I've got a headline from TMZ, so brace yourself.
They're good. That's the TMZ. What is it? The 10-mile zone. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Representative Karen Bass has bad news for President Trump if he wins a second term.
Wait a minute, this is a representative that's on TMZ?
Yeah.
Was she drinking with Joaquin Phoenix? Why is she on TMZ? Do they cover politics now?
I think that most entertainment news is dabbling in politics now.
Okay.
It's all the same.
And basically what she said is that if President Trump gets elected to a second term and these articles of impeachment don't work this time around, they're going to do it again.
Just keep impeaching him until finally
something sticks.
Just keep on impeaching. I don't even know if you could. I guess you could. It's a new administration, technically.
She represents Los Angeles, so here's what she had to say.
Los Angelinos are known for picking the best representatives and then voting for them over and over and over and over again.
Even though we're impeaching him, now. Yeah. There's still a number of court cases. There's a ton of information that could come forward. For example, we could get his bank records and find out that he's owned 100% by the Russians.
Oh, maybe.
So you are absolutely right in your scenario, but the only thing I would say slightly different is that it might not be the same articles of impeachment because the odds are we'd have a ton more information.
It'll be Article 3 and 4. What are you talking about?
It was you.
I'm wholly owned by Russia.
That's right. We're going to find out that you're wholly owned by Russia.
I was born in Russia. There was no newspaper. I mean, it says there's a birth announcement. What is she, nuts?
Yeah, I mean, really, this is birtherism upside down, isn't it? I mean, it's really the same thing. We can't see his taxes, so therefore, obviously, it's because he's made every penny, all $4 billion or whatever he's worth. We don't know what he's worth. He says 10. He's worth probably between 3 and 4, maybe. All of that is. It's not like he's been famous since the 1980s, and we know where he's made his money.
Made all my money off the game.
Somehow, surreptitiously, during all of this time, 90-some-odd% of his income was coming from Russia, from all those Trump. No, there's no properties with the name Trump in Russia on it. But I don't know what he's doing over there. Maybe he's selling cookies on the side.
Well, I'm paying ladies to come to my hotel room. You read the dossier.
I read the dossier. All right. So if he gets reelected, they'll impeach him.
It's going to happen. We're going to have the same charade.
You know what? I think we just impeach every president now. Just first the inauguration, then we have a nice lunch. The honeymoon period used to be 100 days. So we'll say 100 days later. Just impeach every president.
Sounds reasonable.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It'll make everybody happy. You get the president that was voted for, and then you get to impeach.
Yeah.
And that's for the people who didn't vote.
Yeah, the impeached people are the ones you see 3 years later. Don't blame me. I voted for such and so. Okay. The impeachment's for you. Wow, you're so original. Last time around, I saw somebody else from a different party had the same bumper sticker.
We just swapped them at the end. I got one. You can have my sticker now.
Don't blame me. All right.
House Democrats in the White House have reached a deal to advance Trump's renegotiated North American Free Trade Agreement, the USMCA.
Now, that was something yesterday. That's a weird thing. I'm not great with the tea leaves necessarily, but when Nancy Pelosi designed this in such a way that she actually stepped on the biggest news of the day would have to be that the House is formally bringing up 2 articles of impeachment of a sitting president. And 1 hour later, Pelosi shows up at a press conference to say, we're basically going to give the president a big win here. It's been a year, and we're on board with USMCA, and that's coming through the House. That's a weird thing. She could have waited, I don't know, another week. It's been a year. So that shows me that Nancy Pelosi didn't want the only news of the day. She's trying to help these 31 Democrats that were elected in places that Trump won last time around. Swing districts. And it seems a little ham-handed to me. I don't know. It's just like And
then she took credit for it.
Yeah, she took credit for it because. And well, I'll tell you what. The more after all this stuff that's going on, me as a libertarian, as a capitalist, nobody's looking at this UMCA and MCA, and it is. I don't think it's all that great. What I'm learning about it, every 6 years it has to be re-upped. If I'm a business person, look, NAFTA had a lot left to be desired, but we could have just fixed NAFTA instead of scrapping it and doing a new thing. So if you're a capitalist, you're an entrepreneur, and you are building factories in Mexico, every 6 years, all of the rules could change? That doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. Any kind of trade deal should have a 17, 18, 20-year window so that I can build the factory, get the stuff going, beginning, middle, end, make some money before you change the rules.
I have an idea. Maybe a pop-up factory.
Like you hipsters like the pop-up bars.
Yeah.
Pop-up steel factory.
Hey, hipsters, come get your steel for 1 month.
Hey, it's a Brooklyn steel here.
I mean, I suppose that there are people who don't think we should be building factories in Mexico, but people who own factories are free Americans too. Am I right about that? They're allowed to make decisions that you disagree with. That's how it works in this country, right? So if we're going to have deals with other countries that supposedly are trade deals, they ought to be inviting to trade in. So I'm not really digging that aspect. The idea whoever holds the Oval Office or more power in D.C. every 6 years when this comes up, you're going to have to pay a bunch of people off. Plus, the unions are really happy, and they usually aren't really, really happy when something is all about free trade. That's what I've learned in my lifetime. If you're into unions, that's great, but let's not pretend that unions get happy when free trade becomes more expanded. So I'm not so sure about this thing, but it's like the 7th item on the list with everything that's going on. You know, that Inspector General Horowitz is he's testifying right now in the Senate committee, and it looks like already the GOP has gotten him to say that, I can't completely rule out any bias in that FISA. All you got to do is read the report. At one point it says that there were 17 errors or omissions made by the FBI while they were getting FISA warrants on Carter Page. I think they got 4 all told. I think it was 7 the first time, and the 10 were stretched out over the rest. And then comes to the conclusion, but says, I didn't find any bias or any political bias that drove this. But here's the thing. If there's 17 errors, omissions, let's call them mistakes. 17 things were done improperly by the FBI as they were doing this. Don't you think if there was no political bias, once you get to an area where you have 17, that's a pretty good set. Wouldn't there be 1 or 2? If they were just random errors, wouldn't there be 1 or 2 that fell in favor of Trump? It just so happens that all 17, all 17 of these just happened to land negative toward Trump. That's very difficult. I think what it is Horowitz didn't have the ability to really put people under the gun when asking questions. He said, hey, did you have a political bias? They said, no, I didn't. He said, well, I don't know. They say they didn't. That's about as already during this testimony, I think it's breaking down. I am feeling live and festive. I am in the Christmas spirit. What are you chuckling about over there?
A joke I just wrote.
Oh, you can't say it on air?
No, I will.
No, I don't. I need.
It's not that kind of joke.
I still gotta buy. I gotta buy Christmas presents for my loved ones. I don't need you telling jokes that getting me thrown off the air.
Don't worry about it. It's not that kind of joke.
Is it a political joke?
Yes. It made me laugh when I came up with it.
All right, what
it
is
might not be funny.
What
we need context.
Well, what's the context?
We're going to play audio of him the president talking about,
okay, all right.
Our Native American who's running.
Oh, okay.
You know what, Tim? I've got just the audio for you. This is
We might as well just go through some of this audio just to make sure we don't leave a bunch on the table. So, go ahead. This is Trump at the rally last night.
Yeah, he was in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do they have there?
Chocolate.
That's right.
Lots of delicious, creamy milk. Kisses. Lots of kisses. I got a lot of kisses.
You know what, President Trump? My wife is, she's not English, but her parents are English. And so she was brought up, she likes all the fancy European chocolates.
Oh, the kind that is like orange. You smack it, it's chocolate and orange. Give me a Hershey bar with an almonds in it.
I like milk chocolate. I tell her. I think our chocolate tastes better, and people think I'm crazy.
Oh, I want cocoa. It doesn't taste like it. It's bitter. Oh, it's delicious.
You don't like the Toblerones, I think.
Oh, you got to crack it open. What is it? It's a triangle. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. It's a triangle from Sweden.
So you went to Hershey. You like the chocolate.
I love Hershey. Look, they got all the good chocolates. M&M's. Well, that's Mars. But you can get them at the store. It's not like they don't tell competitors. Right?
Yeah, you get all the best chocolates there.
You do. You get the Hershey. You get Crackle. Who doesn't like Crackle? I mean, you got to go buy a Crunch Bar, but I mean Crackle.
Do you like the white chocolate with sometimes do you like the white chocolate?
I like all chocolate. White chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever.
You're diverse when it comes to your...
Look, I'm more diverse about my chocolate than the country is.
I didn't realize how much President Trump knew about chocolate. I mean, that's quite an honor.
It comes from the cocoa plant bean.
Stuff.
You sure did love being in Pennsylvania.
Hello, Pennsylvania. Hello. It's great to be back in this state that gave us the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania Steel, Hershey chocolate. I like Hershey chocolate.
Hershey chocolate. Pennsylvania. A lot of great things in Pennsylvania. A lot of adult bookstores for the lonely types. You don't need tokens. They take dollar bills.
Hey, got Amish. You got.
You got the Amish. No matter where you're driving, next thing you know, there's a buggy. Can I go around it? No. It's a 2-lane highway. But you wait. Maybe they got to pull over. Maybe they got to pull over and feed the horse.
It's a little slow.
Hey, I don't get angry, though. I drive through Pennsylvania. Route 80, folks. Route 80, wow. Always under construction. The Pennsylvania Turnpike goes from Schuylkill all the way to the Ohio border. Wow, and you know what? You can get off in Carlisle and go to the car show.
Why are they called turnpikes? I've never quite liked that in New York. It's
I'm not the road guy. I don't know. Throughway, turnpike. It's a road.
Throughway means it makes sense. You're going through. You're going through the state. This is the way to go through the state. Throughway. I never understood turnpike.
All right, I have a Google result.
Have you Googled that?
Yeah. The term turnpike originated from pikes, which were long sticks that blocked passage until the fare was paid.
Oh.
And the pike turned at a toll house.
There you go.
Cookies. Toll house cookies with genuine Hershey's milk chocolate chips. Made right here. There's another Hershey. They had a brother. Makes ice cream.
Does he?
Hershey's ice cream. Not the same guy. I didn't know that. I thought they made but it's good. And then you look up on the hill, there's the hospital with that nutty Hershey guy, Milton Hershey. Thought he could cure people by giving them chocolate.
Yeah, it always starts out. The cereal guy, Post, he was like that.
Oh, what a dummy. Eat some of the cereal, it'll cure everything. Well, okay.
Did he have like
some grape nuts?
These sort of spas or something, these health spas that people go to and...
Sit in the mud and eat some cereal. It's going to cure everything.
All right.
And of course, Trump, you made fun of Mayor Pete. President Trump.
Yeah.
You made
fun.
He's
been dreaming about Mayor Pete.
I mean, you have Alfred E. Newman who's running, who's like...
Stop for 1 second. Guy. Do most people know who Alfred E. Newman is anymore? Do you know who Alfred E. Newman is?
Not the Mad TV.
You'd seen his Mad TV, but Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
But I wonder if people who are like 20 would even know now. I
think the people who are going to vote know.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got the mad crowd on his side. All right.
I mean, you have Alfred E. Newman who's running, who's like this guy. This guy, Buttigieg. Can you believe he's doing well? He's like the leading fundraiser. I dream about him. It's true.
It's true. We're on a road trip. Road trip with Pete Buttigieg. And in the dream, I said this earlier, I'm a savant.
Yeah.
Like I can count toothpicks.
Yeah.
Like you knock over a thing of toothpicks or straws. Okay, and those plastic straws, it's terrible. But anyway, you count them, and there's thousands of them. I mean, I can get them down. And I like Wapner. We're watching Wapner in the car.
So basically, you saw Rain Man, fell asleep, and had a dream.
What's Rain Man?
Rain Man is a movie that's much like what you just explained. A young guy
Dustin Hoffman,
taking an older guy on a trip.
Wow.
They go to Vegas.
Definitely. I never shop at Kmart. I don't get my underwear at Kmart. Do you, Jared?
I don't.
Kmart.
But you weren't done with just Mayor Pete. You went after Elizabeth Warren, too.
Crazy Elizabeth.
Dreaming about her as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
Nightmares.
Crazy.
Nightmares.
Crazy Elizabeth Warren, or as I affectionately call her, Pocahontas.
That's playing the hits right there, right?
That is, but I have a new one.
Her ridiculous plan would cost $52 trillion. That's more money than we take in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, about 7 years.
About 7 years.
You just said about 7 years.
You know, well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like to think of Elizabeth Warren, crazy Elizabeth Warren, as a member of the 1%.
She's in the 1%.
She's in the 1%.
She hates the 1%.
Well, she's 1% Native American. And I have a new nickname, Little Big Mouth.
She's got 1% Native American blood.
Little Big Mouth with her 1% Native American blood.
How about if some of these billionaires could give just even less than 1%?
How about you don't go jogging before you give a speech? Did your husband give you the Peloton for Christmas?
She always sounds like she's out of breath.
I never knew how strong I could be until I got a Peloton.
Why are you out of breath? What have you been doing? What, you had to walk up? Oh, I walked onto the stage. Those steps, all 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 steps. I'm out of breath.
I'm out of breath because I'm laughing at your...
What, were you doing a rain dance?
I was laughing at your ability to give speeches.
I know, it's phenomenal. Now, is it going to rain? Trust me, I need to know, because, look, it's been a little dry.
I'm going to rain on your parade of
okay, great.
becoming
a little
president.
Dry in Southern California. Why don't you go do a rain dance?
Perfecto.
You're right, perfecto.
Not quite.
She wants all the wampum.
Are you doing magic tricks again?
Perfecto.
Perfecto. Watch me pull an impeachment out of my hat. Oh, wait, that's Adam's shit. Wampum.
His next trick is going to make his re-election campaign disappear.
I thought she had a papoose. That's just a hump.
That's more money than we take in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, about 7 years.
Perfecto. We were just having a good conversation about the actor Lee Van Cleef. Tim gets him mixed up with James Coburn.
American Ninja.
A lot of people do.
Timothy Van Patten.
All right, what do we have? What's next?
Well,
we're just doing audio here, right? Is that what we're doing?
You were going to ask a question.
Was I going to ask a question?
You were going to ask Autumn something.
Oh, yeah, Autumn, by the way, during the break, Autumn eats. She never stops eating. And I'm looking at her did you just eat an entire peach cobbler or something? It seemed like you had a whole dish, a large dish full of food.
It was part of a piece of chicken, and I heated it up in the microwave.
You don't know how disturbing, or I should say disconcerting it was to watch you eat that. It was very...
delicious.
Yeah, for you. But
I made it with butter and garlic.
Okay, I'm bored now. But I would tell you, it was not fun watching you eat it. And
you're just jealous that you don't eat.
Well, I stopped eating.
He eats constantly throughout the show, just healthy stuff.
A little bird seed.
I just had myself an orange.
Sunflower seeds.
I had an orange.
My Monster Energy drink.
I had an orange, and Tim.
I had an orange. My mommy gave me an orange before I left the house.
Tim couldn't see that there was an orange, and he started to. He asked me if I was eating an orange or he was having a stroke.
Oh, because he smelled citrus?
Yeah, he smelled the oranges.
That's what happens, apparently. Did you know that, Jared?
Yeah.
But it's not just oranges.
Hair.
You smell. Hair.
Burning hair.
Burning hair.
This vanilla ice cream smells like someone burnt my hair.
No. That's a new flavor. Burnt hair. Vanilla.
Right here at our pop-up disgusting ice cream shop.
Disgusting. Here, have some meat, a scoop of meatloaf ice cream.
I saw one of those pop-up
Ketchup
bars.
drizzle.
I saw one of those pop-up bars that Jared's hipster friends are always talking about.
They're fun.
They're fun. Oh, yeah. They're fun.
You can drink anywhere.
I love that review. They're fun. It applies to every pop-up bar of all time. They're fun.
It doesn't really matter what the substance is of it. It's just the fact that it's a pop-up bar.
Me and my
fun.
friends got to stand outside, and then we're allowed to go into a. That's the fun part.
We're smart. You go there in the early afternoon, and then that's where you start the night off. You don't want to sit there late because it does get crowded. I agree. The lines are not worth it. But right now,
there's a Christmas-themed pop-up bar.
There's a bunch of them
next to the theater that I was at the other day.
Probably Miracle then.
I think it was Landmark. Miracle's the name of the what?
Miracle's the company that comes in and takes over.
It looked like somebody vomited Christmas on the inside of this place.
Fun!
It's fun!
Hey, just in time for the end of the year in your insurance. You got that deductible?
Yeah.
I got a pop-up colonoscopy shop there. Okay. Everything's hosed down.
Everything's good.
Got a drape.
You'll be in and out of here quicker than an oil change.
Yeah, we ain't got time to knock you out. Just bite on this stick.
Come on, hipsters.
All right, this looks like
nice
fun.
beard.
Hey,
okay.
Did you drink to go lightly? All right.
You're drinking a lot of Goldenschlager.
All right, what's sound?
Well, we have one other story to get to, Eric.
A story?
Yeah.
Whoa. A story.
Well, remember how we mentioned earlier in the show that we have a new person of the year, and that's Greta Thunberg.
Oh, Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
She's Time Magazine. I didn't even know they still had a magazine. This is two pieces of news for me. Time is still a magazine, and Time Magazine still names a person of the year, even though nobody gives a damn anymore. I told you, I came in this morning, there was a finalist list of 5.
Yeah.
And I said to Jared, it's going to be Greta Thunberg because it's just the virtue signaling, non-thinking thing to do. People, it's weird to me. I don't find this girl to be somebody that I find inspirational at all, but everybody else does. I know, and I know you're very well.
I'm an inspiration.
Congratulations.
I shouldn't be an inspiration.
I know you shouldn't be an inspiration. It's a sad thing that we have to have you as an inspiration. Is that what you're saying?
We're all dying.
I know. It's very.
All of us will die.
People are suffering. People are dying.
I told you.
I guess her job is she floats around the world on a boat that doesn't make waste. And she shows up in different countries.
It runs on good vibes.
And she yells at the adults. And then she leaves and she goes finds a bunch of other adults and tells them how poorly they've done stuff before.
It's time for the children to yell at the adults.
Yeah, has she been to China?
There's no adults to keep the adults in line.
Has she been to India,
None
China?
of the BRICS nations.
Any of these places where polluting the most?
Yeah.
She was in Spain yesterday, and she said that even though people are
what was that, Greta?
Hola.
She says
no quiero ir.
Where's Charo? She said that even though people disagree with her philosophy on things, she's just going to keep talking.
For about a year, I've been constantly talking about our rapidly declining carbon budgets over and over again.
Yeah.
But since that is still being ignored, I will just keep repeating it.
Over and over and over.
Estoy hablando consistentante.
Now I feel like you're just pandering to the locals at this point. I have to say.
No.
All right, everybody's. It's just.
Quiero ir a la escuela.
You know, she would do the same thing if she were into My Little Pony. It would be the same.
Right. What? Well, you
she would be passionate
Rainbow
about.
Dash has been oppressed for too long.
Well, she's 16 years old. That's why I have a little fun, but I don't go after her too much. The people around her, I think, are exploiting her. I mean, does that make me a bad person if I think that the people around her,
the NGO people that are carting her around the world?
Yeah.
We didn't even get to the story.
And by the way, that yacht is not a no-waste yacht because it had to be built somewhere, and nobody built a yacht without using all kinds of carbons. All right,
carbons.
Now, Greta did overshadow Megan Rapinoe, who took the Sports Illustrated 2019 Sports Person of the Year yesterday.
Yeah, she is my favorite ambassador of the United States who hates the United States. As ambassadors who hate their own countries go, there's none better than Megan Rapinoe. And that rhymes.
That rhymes.
Hey, the music says we're done on the radio side, but that doesn't make us totally dumb. We're going to go do the podcast 30. If you'd like to join us, go to the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSBRadio.com Facebook page. Click on the red box, and there you are. You join us for the podcast 30. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Podcast 30 begins right now. Well, you know, you hear the theremin. No, Podcast 30 always follows. I'm Eric Von Haessler. You already knew that, but it's worth reiterating. Tim Andrews is still here. J-Rad, rocking the theremin. Autumn Fisher is here. And the king of the theremin from Studio B1, Greg Russ. Always used to tell me how much he loved a good theremin solo.
Yeah, most people don't know that about me. It's something I keep secret because,
I'm sorry.
You know, it means a lot.
And
it means a lot to me. And if I present that to the world and then someone says, that's dumb, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, you would have to, you probably would retreat and maybe for a year or so not even deal with people because you would know they'd be looking at you going, that guy, he's really into theremin solos. And they'd be judging you all the time.
Right.
So
they would.
Better just
it
to
would
stay.
taint the whole theremin experience.
That's
and then
right.
I'd retrofit a theremin with a gun.
Can I say that I want... That would be the weirdest sounding murder ever.
The spookiest
Hey,
sounding
they should have
murder.
known something was up. There was a theremin going.
The FBI had been watching this guy and his love for theremins for years. Why didn't they do anything?
Can I tell you guys something? If there was, now that I think about it, I've always wanted a theremin. Wouldn't that be therapeutic?
You can get one.
Yeah.
To go over and just go, what do you do? It's just what are you breaking? Is it a frequency that you're breaking? What do you do?
I don't know the answer to that question.
What's a theremin? How's it that? What is the instrument made of? The theremin.
Well, I mean, the more metal.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know the mechanism of action for it, but I've seen people use one.
It says two metal antennas.
Yeah, and then the closer you put your hands to it, the frequency changes, and where you move them along the theremin.
Is it the sound waves bouncing off of your hands? So like the sound waves get shorter, and so they get higher.
Yeah, they get higher because they get shorter, right? And
Right.
so you're just dealing with a frequency, and you're massaging the frequency.
I like the Jew's harp. Did you ever have a Jew's harp?
Yeah.
It's called a mouth harp.
We called it mouth. Is it a mouth harp?
Yeah, the rubber on the metal. You know,
right.
boing, boing, boing,
No, it's at the
boing.
beginning of cover of the Rolling Stones. In there, isn't it? It's in there.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Every once in a while, like in the early to mid 70s, that you'd see the mouth organ.
But see, wait,
sounds
is that
far
a
worse.
harmonica?
Hey, that doesn't sound worse. That does sound worse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think a mouth organ might be a harmonica.
Okay, so what is the other name for a Jew's harp? There's
Mouth
another
harp.
name.
No, because I
mouth
think
harp.
Jew's harp is...
You hit your teeth with that thing because it's metal, and you go boing, boing, boing. And sometimes I would hit my teeth, and it would hurt.
Oh, and that's why when I met you, your teeth were all
No, they were
messed
crooked
up.
because I sucked my thumb till I was 12.
Oh, okay. Did you suck your thumb till you were 12?
Yeah.
I've known you 20 years. I didn't know that.
You don't know that I have an oral fixation? I chew on
Yeah,
straws
of course.
the
Look at
entire
his pens.
Yeah, I can see that, but I didn't know you sucked on your thumb till you were 12.
Oh, yeah.
Did you stop at school?
No.
No, that's when he started smoking.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You would go to school? I mean, 12. That's like
No. I'd
seventh
suck
grade,
it at
isn't it?
night while I was
Oh,
asleep or going to
okay.
bed. Sometimes I would wake up, even in my 20s. I'm not doing it on purpose. Even in my 20s, I'd wake up and my thumb would be right there. It's so weird.
I never had one. I sucked my thumb like until I was about 3 or 4. My brother, the two fingers here. 2 fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My neighbor kids do that. The two in the middle.
Look at this. Freaks. Suck your thumb like a real man.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, Greg.
Since you and I both chew on straws nonstop, the switch away from plastic straws really does stink for that very reason.
Oh, yeah, you got paper. It's
That's
not
why I'm
going to do
stocking
anything.
up.
Ugh, the paper straw. I can't even drink out of the paper straw. Right now it's making me cringe just the thought of it.
I bring my own straws if I'm going to a place I know doesn't have plastic.
I think they're designed, though. Those paper straws are designed to crumple as soon as that drink is done.
Yeah.
Or
before. About 30 minutes.
They've had them at Ted's for years. And, by the time the lemonade's gone, the straw's gone along with it. Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's to encourage you not to order more to drink.
Well, I'll tell you what. As long as it helps, if a turtle's life is saved, well, I think we can all agree it wasn't worth it.
If you're going to do this, every restaurant should just go with metal straws. It's on par with a fork or a knife at that point. It's a piece of your silverware.
You can make them from animal intestines.
Okay, but here's the thing.
You can, but you wouldn't even know.
Here's the thing. I don't want to think of my straw as something that gets reused in a restaurant, even though it goes through the dishwasher.
Oh,
that
what about your
would
fork?
freak me out.
Yeah, your fork is the same way.
There's something about there's a lot more. You're bringing a lot more up that tube. I don't know.
The fork is all the way in your mouth, and people
hold on. A fork. I can polish it myself with my napkin. I can't get inside of that straw.
Well, people's mouths aren't going inside of that straw.
Right.
What?
Their mouths aren't going.
No,
inside. Bubbles in the water or the drink.
You don't know what's going on. It was dropping back out of their face.
Yeah, and your waiter's coming up and breathing in your face. So who cares if you're blowing? They come up like, hello, what can I get you tonight? So it's a difference.
It really is the same as a fork or a spoon. Like if you have soup.
Did you see the story about the lady who slipped and the metal straw went right through her eyeball?
Killed her, right?
Yes.
She died.
That's the thing. I don't let my kids drink out of metal straws because I'm afraid they'll run with them and then it'll get jammed up into their hard palate.
Take these scissors instead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are we going to do until they become adults? And then, we got to do stuff here. What are we going to do?
Cup.
We are going to tape the very end of the show. This will be
the very end of the January 2nd show.
Correct. Yes, and this will be.
This is the very end of today's show.
Yes.
This is the end.
Is it the end?
This is the end.
And this will be Greg. Stories from Studio B1.
Do you know that I saw when Apocalypse Now opened up the first weekend? I went to a full theater. And had to sit in the front row because that was the only seat. No, it was great because that opening scene, which I did not back in 1979, they didn't tell you everything that was going to happen, and that this is the end. I'm in the front row, huge screen, and when that island goes up in napalm,
that movie is good.
It was good. You like the long version that's out there?
I do like the redo.
They stop and they.
I've never seen it.
Well, they stop and they have this weird scene and like lunch or something at somebody's.
You ever see the uncut? What's the movie with Fonda and I can't think of it. Easy Rider.
On Golden Pond.
The uncut Easy Rider.
Isn't any good?
No,
it can't be.
They're on acid.
No. Listen, that thing was just saved. That was just put together. I don't know how much.
Some studio guy saved it.
Somebody saved it because if you watch it, it's like a lot of good footage. But somebody saved it with the editing, and then you still got that middle part in that cemetery where they're just tripping.
Yeah. No, man.
I think the whole movie's like that. If it was left to what's his name? Who's the actor? Who's the director?
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. All right, what do you got?
All right, you ready?
Oh no, what is it? We're finishing, and what we're doing for Studio B1.
Correct. So you have the two longer segments. The
ones it's the last half hour. You recognize that about the last half hour, right, Greg? We don't. They're not like other hours. We do two 15-minute segments. Aren't really 15 minutes, but we do two longer segments.
Yeah, it's about 8 minutes each.
All right. You ready for that? You got 8 minutes each in you? There, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't, it doesn't matter. You do because,
it's my show.
It's never fallen on me to talk 8 minutes anyway.
Are you rebelling?
I say maybe 30 seconds.
Are you rebelling? Are you rebelling? Maybe you ought to get your own radio show on WSB.
There's no rebellion.
All right,
here we go. Starting hour 3, seg 3 in 3, 2, 1.
All right, before we get out of here, this is our first show of not only the new year, but a new decade. So it's a very special show. People will look back, okay, I know people are arguing. Okay, I know where you're going with this, so maybe we ought to just go ahead and get this started.
He's a misanthrope, he has a dark heart, and he needs a good psychiatrist. It's Greg Russ with stories from Studio B1.
Well, we can all agree we're starting a new year, and that's why we're getting a special double dip, a second shot of Gregness this morning. It's good to have you back, Greg. I heard you going, and I think I know why, but I want to let you present this. So go ahead and jump that to the top of your list. A lot of people don't think we're starting a new decade.
Yeah, now that we've spent the whole show talking about how we're entering a new decade, 2020 probably is not the start of a new decade. In fact, I would say it's not the start of a new decade because there was no zero year. Right. So therefore, next year will be the start of the new decade.
See, that makes sense. If you're not following, so if this started a new decade, the day you were born, you would be 1 year old.
Right.
Right. So you go from 0 to 1. So really, the decade starts on 1 because you've had a year. Is that the idea?
You have to finish the 10th year.
Right.
To complete the decade.
This is the 10th year.
But I remember this an awful lot when, but is it the 10th year? Because don't number lines start with a 0 and end with 9?
We'll go back to our calendar, which doesn't matter anyway because it's arbitrary. But that's what we're basing all of this on. There is no year 0.
There's no
started
right.
1.
Oh, so the weird thing is we did just start with 1.
So you don't actually complete your first year until 2.
So you go from 1 BCE to 1 AD.
Yes,
there's no zero year there.
So the beginning
of Jared? You look confused.
No, I am following. I feel like we need to go back and correct this. We need to subtract a year.
We used to have this argument. I remember being on radio in Los Angeles in the mid-'90s having this argument with callers. And I was on the other side. I was a stickler back then. I'm not a stickler anymore. Now I'm like, it's a new decade. Let it go. Because that's how we think of decades, is that they start with the 0.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a new decade. But I used to be a stickler, and I was arguing in the mid-'90s that the new millennium does not start Y2K, but would start January 1st, 2001. So I understand. I think that for the most part, there is a correctness to this. But on the other side, we know it's all messed up because you can't go from -1 to 1 to begin with, and we live within this system, so we can make it up culturally. We start the decade on the zeros. When did the 80s start? Most people say 1980. When did the 90s start? 1990. Right. Doesn't really matter if it's actually correct, as long as we all agree that the decade starts on the 0, then it does.
It's all about how 2020 feels about it, right? If they feel like they started a new decade, then 2020 decides that.
2020 is known for having feelings. This is the year of feelings.
I think it's going to have a lot of feelings this year.
Greg, honestly, I think that the people who say that are probably correct, but it doesn't matter because it's not binding. It's whatever people think.
That's what I say. Who cares?
Common usage.
That's it. Common usage. Although you don't want to take that too far because then you end up where you have no language at all.
Well, that's the thing with common usage. You're not for it when words' meanings get changed because of common usage.
Well, it's just hard to think. If this were right, we would have to all agree that the 60s ended in December of 1970. It just doesn't make sense to us.
Did.
Yeah, technically they did. Technically they did. All right, so people are going to argue about that, and I was a stickler in the old days. Now I throw my hands up and say, we're starting a new decade. So everything that preceded this segment on this show this morning was not false, Greg Russ, because to me, and I am the host, we are beginning a new decade. How about that?
Okay, I'm on your side.
How about that?
How about that? How about that?
Again, who cares? I was just playing devil's advocate.
I know. You're a little devil.
Yes.
No one says that anymore. I guess because we're just so rude now.
Little devil.
Remember they used to say, you're a little devil.
No, a little imp.
What is imp?
A little devil.
Is it? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an idiot.
Well, hey, you know what? You don't say that in 2020.
It's the decade of feelings.
What do you think the 2020 is going to be the time to be nice to everybody?
Yeah.
Well, to yourself at least, Eric.
That's such a 2020 thing to say.
I'm always
totally.
nice. I'm always kind to myself, I think.
Except for when you're to yourself. Sure.
Yeah, I don't beat myself up. I always, whenever I'm feeling bad, there's always a part of every day where I feel bad about something I said, or something that would maybe how I acted in front of somebody, and then
you
I
just
always
yell at your wife for not making the grilled cheese properly, and you feel better.
Yeah, I get it all off my chest. It seems to work out for me. No, I just always go, yeah, you know what? I'm not a serial killer. I'm doing better than that, and then I start there. Like I identify the people who are absolutely worse than me, and then I work up the chain. So I'm not as bad as a serial killer. Okay, let's start there.
That's not a good comparison because a serial killer, if they're a good serial killer, they're actually good at something. You need someone who's a complete failure. Now, what society says about
killer
serial killers? Yes.
What'd you say?
You're a serial killer who wanted to be a serial killer, but caught on your first attempt.
Yeah, not a good serial killer.
I had plans. Boy, did I have big plans.
You had all the drums.
Things just didn't work
all
out.
The big drums.
I had
lots of rope.
I had all these arcane, weird riddles that I was going to send to the cops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just messed up, and I left
all those letters. Had all those newspapers
for nothing because I was an
so
idiot.
many dreams in those letters.
I left my hat there, and they caught me immediately.
You even had your own name.
I put my name in my hat so I don't lose it.
Yeah. I'm more curious about this list of people that you're talking about. So serial killer being up here the worst. Where does like dog catcher fall on this list?
Dog catcher?
That's got to be a
Do
pretty
they have
guilty
dog
job.
catchers?
No, dog catcher's a good job, isn't it? You're catching dogs.
That's it. Look, it's a skill.
Strays.
Not anyone can catch a dog.
Why would you? What's going on in your mind that you go from serial killers to dog catcher?
No, I'm saying in your hierarchy right here.
No, my hierarchy.
Where do garbage men wind up on that?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
where do garbage men?
I'm not talking about rank. I'm talking about evilness.
Right.
Like if I'm not going to beat myself up because maybe I said something to somebody that upset them, and I think about the world. Yes, serial killers. Okay, I'm better as than the next on top of serial killers.
Dog catcher.
Politicians. Politicians. I'm not as evil as they are. Okay, I'm better than that. Guys who have shows on ESPN. Okay, I'm better than those people. I'm not as evil as those people are, and you keep on working up.
And Jared, by the way, the dog catcher is only evil if he just, drives and sees a stray dog and screw it.
Yeah.
That's an evil dog catcher. Just leaves the dog.
First of all, are there actual dog catchers?
Yes, animal control goes around all the time.
I know, but they say, I wouldn't vote for him for dog catcher. I've been voting since 1984. I've never once seen dog catcher on the ballot.
Oh, the Republican dog catchers are the best.
No, I'll tell you what, they do not waste your money. Yes?
Were they depicted at some point? I feel like in cards with nets. Are you catching dogs with nets?
Yeah.
And they chew it
like a butterfly net.
Yeah.
They jump out of like a white passenger van type of thing.
Oh, sorry.
Just throw a dog in the back.
What do you call those? Like paddy wagon type things. They jump out of it with a net.
You get a Great Dane in a net. Butterfly net.
It's a big myth that we were sold by Big Dog. There never actually was a dog catcher with a net.
Can't say paddy wagon.
Yeah. Why? Because it's
Irish people. Irish.
Irish
people don't care.
They don't care.
We're white.
Notre Dame is called the Fightin' Irish. Why? Because they have a stereotype of getting drunk and fighting. They take it as their mascot as a drunk guy who wants to fight you.
I don't know how much that's a stereotype. I saw it in action.
Oh no, it's
when I was in Ireland.
Oh, listen to me. Real stereotypes always have some truth in them. It's just that it's wrong to apply them to everybody.
What
Let me
happened
tell
in
you something I've noticed.
Well, I told this before, but there was such a fine line. I was waiting for an ATM, and two drunk Irish guys who didn't know each other. One guy was walking up to the ATM, another guy was walking up to the ATM. The guy who was there first thought the other guy was cutting in line, and then they were shouting at each other, and I really thought fists were about to fly. And then the next thing I knew, they were hugging each other and telling each other they loved each other.
Brother, you're my friend, brother.
It was. And they were drunk out of their minds with this line that they walked. The balance.
You know what? It's funny though. Isn't that the same kind of vibe that you could get in Rome? Like there's that Italian dude vibe too, where it can go from fighting to hugging in just a second. So that's something that there's a few cultures that are like that.
Well, sometimes when two guys are talking about fighting each other, it sounds like it's going to get sexual.
Oh, really?
Don't you think? Where they're like, yeah, I'm going to F you up. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this to you.
Yeah, I'm going to do this to you.
Put this in here.
Put this over there. Yeah.
You want to go outside and take our clothes off?
Exactly.
I'm going to put
this. The shirt does come off
there, and you're going to like it.
I'm going to put this there. Exactly. Like I'm going to stick this.
What is the point of the shirt coming off? And why doesn't someone punch the other guy when he's taking his shirt off?
That would be wrong. That would be wrong.
I don't care.
You don't break the code.
There's no honor. If I got in a fight, there's no honor at that point. It's like my job is to take you down.
Douchebag code.
Hey, I haven't been in a fight since I was in 6th grade, and so I wouldn't know. So these days, I would just kick a guy in the nads and run.
Well,
because let's face it, if I'm fighting, this is the first time I've done it since 8th grade. sixth grade, and maybe this person's been doing it all their lives, they're probably going to beat me up.
You know what you need to go for?
What?
The neck hole. Right there between your collarbone, the two sides of it. If you get a finger in there and just really shove it in there, it can take a person down pretty easily.
Really? I feel like you might break your finger before you actually
find
right
the
here.
perfect
As long
spot.
as I have to break my
right
face.
Have you ever watched Millennials?
You mean where my tracheotomy scar is? Right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go after me there.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen two...
You guys want to lick it? You know, it's Christmas every year. I let people lick
I like to lick it.
I let people lick
It's a Christmas tradition. lick
Everybody
gets to lick my neck scar.
Everybody gets to lick Eric's tracheotomy scar.
Gather round, children.
My favorite time of the year. An advent calendar.
Can I wick your skull?
The kids
Ask your mother.
jingle belling and everyone licking Eric's tracheotomy scar.
I would like an advent calendar.
Yeah?
Where each day we're counting down to the licking. Get to open a door and get a little piece of chocolate.
Down to the licking. You want to fight me, you're going to get licked. When did that come up? I'm going to lick you.
Yeah.
Licked.
Hey, yeah,
That's
now.
another
I'm not
sexual
licked
fight
yet.
thing. I'm going to lick you. All over
I ain't licked yet.
this bar.
Because it's just animal behavior. And
It
then-
really is. Let me look it up.
So now this segment.
Don't look it up because we're going to a segment that's for the radio. We have to do that.
All right, so this segment is going to be about 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
I don't have it in me.
And at the end, there's no podcast. So you have to, when I play the close,
All
there's
right,
no
so-
podcast.
okay,
Just don't be alarmed.
then say Happy New Year.
Okay, all right, here we go. So starting this up in
What was the last thing we were talking about when we left?
the dog catcher, the
All right,
hierarchy
yeah,
of things.
okay.
All right, ready? Starting in 3, 2, 1.
You know, picking up on what we were talking about before we left, maybe that's why they started voting on dog catchers. Because they started noticing that these guys running around trying to catch dogs with nets weren't getting the job done. So somebody said, vote for me. I'll actually get the damn dogs. People running around with nets. They did a lot of that stuff with nets. Like in old movies, like when somebody goes crazy and they have like the people show up to take you
They
to the
also
mental.
have a net.
They've got a net. Like they're just
You're a
catching
crazy animal.
Can you imagine? You're just walking around and somebody takes a net.
We got to get this guy to the nut house.
I'm a lobster all of a sudden. All right. All right. You got more stories from Studio B1 that have to do with the end of the last decade or the beginning of this decade or something like that, Greg Russ?
I do. I want to offset some of the worry that people are feeling. We quite often hear about how animals and species are going extinct.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got good news for you. Last year, researchers discovered 71 new species of plants and animals, including 15 geckos, 17 species of fish, 8 flowering plants, 6 sea slugs, Eric. So for all this concern you have about the animals that are disappearing from the face of this earth, we're still discovering new ones to replace them.
Okay, but I don't care about sea slugs, but I care about a koala.
Yeah, sea slugs. I think we need more sea slugs.
What about ants, Autumn?
I saw those at the seashore for a while.
3 new species of ants were discovered. Does that
Cool.
make you
They're
feel
so
all right?
cute.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
didn't
them.
have-
They're so cute. I go visit the zoo and see the new ant exhibit.
What about a skink? You like skinks?
What's a skink?
Well, I think we all know.
Hey,
You just can't say it anymore.
3 new types of skinks out there.
The skink, skank, skunk.
Hey, I'm in the park with my sea slug. That's just a sea slug. Hey, what do you think?
You know, I think when they discovered these things, it would make you think that they were on the earth for the first time in 2019. It's just that they're discovered. There's more that we don't know than what we know. People don't realize this. That's why they expect everything. When things aren't perfect, they expect they can blame somebody because they could be perfect because everything is known. Most things aren't known. Everything that we know about the world, you could put in a thumbnail. Not a thumbnail, a thumbnail. Why would you put something in somebody's thumbnail?
Thumb drive.
In a thimble.
A thimble?
Thimble is what I was saying. So there's so much that we don't know. So we'll be discovering things like, it's not like they just popped up in 2019. We've been here and we haven't noticed them. And then a lot of times we think things have gone extinct, and then you read a story, it's like, hey, somebody saw that extinct tiger the other day.
The Tasmanian one.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden it's there because we don't have eyes on everything at all times.
Do you ever have any? Do you ever have any of those weird moments where you're going hiking and then a strange bug or animal lands around you or near you and you see it and you have no idea what the heck it is? And
Kill it.
and you think that you might have discovered something new at that. I mean, I know, like, when I'm walking, I'll
No. We don't have the same dealer. I can tell you. I've never had that experience. Hey, that might be something I've never seen that before.
Well, I see it too, Jared.
And by the time you call the science people, I swear to God, it was right here.
I swear the bark was glowing.
I'm telling you, man, this fish was walking right up to my door.
It had blue wings.
It said, "Hey, man,
that's got to be something new, right? A walking fish?
Yeah.
Fish don't walk. Not till
You
now.
try to take pictures of things if you're in that altered mental state, so you think you see something, but because everyone's got a camera these days, do you pull out your camera and try to take a picture of the thing you're seeing, and then maybe it's not actually there on the screen, and that alerts you that you're screwed up? Or maybe you think you take a picture of it, and then later you look, and it's just a pine cone.
Maybe it was a trick of the light, the shadows.
It's the scaled mouse." Oh no, wait, it's just a pine cone.
I don't think walking sticks is supposed to have wings.
Heck no.
That was the first weird insect I ever saw in kindergarten. The teacher brought in a walking stick.
Oh, those are
and even at 5, I knew enough about the world to go, that's weird.
You
That's
see
like
them out in the woods ever?
I've never seen one ever again in my life. The only one I've ever seen.
They're really well camouflaged.
Yeah.
Why would Yeah, they look just like the tree.
Yeah, they look like a real stick.
Only the dumb ones must get eaten. Because they must be moving at the wrong right. How will a walking stick get eaten if it's perfect camouflage?
Just dancing. Hey, there's no birds here in these woods.
Birds don't eat sticks, so I'm all right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when a chimp grabs a stick to try to get some termites out of the hill, maybe it turns out to be the bug.
I wonder how many walking sticks have been bludgeoned to death by chimpanzees using them as tools.
Or get woven into a nest by a stupid bird.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a stick.
Hey, I went to
Greg is on it. That's one of their.
I went to sleep and
Next thing you know, I'm in a nest.
Greg is 100% right. That's one of their primary people that consumes them. Primates, spiders, rodents, reptiles, and birds.
Yeah, look at that. They see the birds. You can't fool the birds. They know what sticks look like.
Not the stupid one that wrapped me up in its nest.
Hey, unless sticks are breathing these days. That's food.
Come on, buddy. I'm just trying to get to work.
I got a whole day full of looking like a stick ahead of me.
What's your job? I look like a stick, but I'm not a stick.
I got legs.
Those are weird legs. Those things are so thin. They're like, it's like their legs are made of hair.
That's how I feel about hummingbirds' legs.
Oh, hummingbirds are just strange.
Hummingbirds are like a bird and a bug.
Yeah, they're bird bugs.
Bird bugs.
Bug birds.
It's like a bird on meth. Get some pollen, nectar.
What a horrible life. It just never stops, does it?
Always anxiety.
Oh, my God. I'm going to fall. If I slow down for 1 second, I'm going to fall.
I've actually seen them land.
That's our way with the music club is saying is that we wish a happy new year to all the bugs, birds, sticks, your family and friends. It's going to be a great 2020, and it's going to be a great decade. Even if it doesn't start for another year, that's up to you.
Protect those walking sticks and hummingbirds, guys.
That's going to be my new cause. I'm going to start my own foundation. Let them walk. Walking for walking sticks. That's what we're going to do, a walk.
Christopher Walking Stick.
It's a bug, but it's a stick. And it walks.
Our spokesperson right there. Christopher Walking Stick. All right, that music tells me that unfortunately our first Von Haessler Doctrine of the brand new year has come to an end. No podcast 30 today. I'm sorry. We'll have many of them this year, just not one today. We're going to come back all year long. You can't get rid of us. You can join us, but until then, continue on the journey. Don't piss off the genie.
Look at that. Now we still have a few minutes in the podcast.
A radio show is better in the podcast than it actually is in the radio show. It's like all the bits we've been. Yeah, let's start doing the show. We'll start the show at 12:30. We'll play it the next day.
All we have to do is one of the days after the real show is that we do a whole nother show, and then we'll always be one ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but what if something happens overnight?
Oh, you mean breaking news?
Breaking news.
Well, then
WSB doesn't care. No, you can't say, then we'll come in, because that might be the night I decide to drink.
No, because we'll have
3.
to come in the next day.
I don't think it should be
and
pre-recorded.
so while
You just got to get into this mindset. You're still into the podcast mindset, even if you're recording on the podcast. You let go a little bit. It's a little looser.
I think, but we get maybe it's a little. But I don't want to get too loose on the other side, because you know how autumn gets.
You're just talking about how it's better.
Loose?
It's a little.
And
better.
How often do we do?
No, hold on. No, we actually do it radio style. I just feel like for some reason I think it's I don't know. I just feel like we do it better.
He's saying that you get more relaxed because
no, I get very uptight. Very tight sphincter right now.
Well, that's you natural. That's your natural state.
That's my natural default sphincter.
What's the holiday schedule like?
Tightest in the land.
You don't know the holiday schedule?
No.
What
Jared
do you?
didn't tell you?
Jared didn't tell you?
No, he doesn't.
No, I sent her an email.
Check the calendar. Oh, she did.
Check the calendar.
It's not.
It's not on the calendar?
It's not, but I will put it in.
Wait, it's not. Isn't that something that should be on the... Oh, I'm sorry. We can't...
What's that? I guess I just won't know.
Yeah, well...
I'll just show up every day and
yeah,
just wonder.
if we're not here, you have the day off.
Alan? Whoa.
I'm not here. All right. We are done.
All right.
All right. We're not going to let Rudolph play in any more reindeer games. We're done. Goodbye. God bless. Aloha.